Manager Go Yangjun presents a professional appearance. Assistant Manager Mo Ji-eun listens intently. Mo Ji-eun accepts his decision. She quietly acknowledges the expected outcome. Mo Ji-eun contrasts his high status with her humble rural background. Mo Ji-eun feels used, but Go Yangjun denies playing with her feelings. Mo Ji-eun demands an explanation for the sudden breakup. Go Yangjun groans in pain as she questions his affection. A loud, sudden crash sounds as Go Yangjun collapses. Mo Ji-eun frantically pleads for him to wake up. A sudden, tragic thought strikes her. Mo Ji-eun sobs, imagining he is leaving her due to a terminal illness. Mo Ji-eun begs him not to die as onlookers watch. She despairs, wondering how to live without him. Go Yangjun sits up suddenly, startling her. Mo Ji-eun rejoices, but Go Yangjun begins to speak strangely. Go Yangjun inexplicably meows like a cat. He continues his bizarre feline behavior on the floor. Mo Ji-eun watches in pure terror. A bald doctor diagnoses him with acute meow meow syndrome. Mo Ji-eun glares suspiciously while the doctor explains. The doctor describes the crushing burdens of work and family, leading Mo Ji-eun to wonder if he is talking about his own life. Mo Ji-eun is confused when the doctor asks if she envies cats. The doctor explains that cats are loved for being lazy and cute. The doctor suggests the allure of becoming a cat. Mo Ji-eun remains deeply unconvinced. Mo Ji-eun summarizes that his mind regressed to a cat's due to stress. Mo Ji-eun admits he has been under intense work pressure. The doctor offers to demonstrate the patient's feline state. The doctor coos at him and offers a treat. Go Yangjun meows and strikes at the doctor's face. Mo Ji-eun gasps as the doctor is scratched. Mo Ji-eun screams for a doctor while the bald man insists he is one. A loud cry for help rings out across the courtyard. A sense of hardship fills the air. Mo Ji-eun sits with the cat-like man on a bench. She wonders if he truly cares for her. A sudden realization startles Mo Ji-eun. Gimija arrives with bodyguards laughing mockingly. The chairman's wife bluntly orders her to break up with Yangjun. Mo Ji-eun recalls how he was always a cold, demanding boss during their secret office romance. She focuses on her own internal conflict. Mo Ji-eun wonders if he is trying to comfort her. Go Yangjun meows and strikes her with a feline punch. Mo Ji-eun yells at him to speak like a human. She realizes he is just as difficult as a cat. Mo Ji-eun holds him back as he hisses at the pleading doctor. Mo Ji-eun laments the bad luck of nursing the man who dumped her. Go Yangjun responds with a simple meow. He reaches out toward her once again. Gae-mija expresses gratitude for Mo Ji-eun's care of her son, but worries she will cling to him because of their relationship. Mo Ji-eun reveals that they have already broken up, leaving the older woman stunned. Gae-mija suddenly orders Mo Ji-eun to take the chuddy dummy with her, causing total confusion. Mo Ji-eun excuses herself and walks away while the older woman screams in shock. The scene shifts to the exterior of an apartment building at night. Mo Ji-eun lies on her bed, deciding she isn't kind enough to nurse a man who dumped her. She reminds herself that Go Yangjun initiated the breakup and sees no point in dating someone who doesn't like her. She tells herself it's a relief his mother is caring for him, though a heavy silence follows. A sense of lingering doubt remains. She admits to being a little worried about him. 3 days later, the scene returns to the apartment complex. Gae-mija appears with deep scratches all over her face and a desperate expression. Mo Ji-eun opens the door and coldly informs the woman that no returns are allowed. Mo Ji-eun tries to close the door while Gae-mija begs for her to listen. Gae-mija explains she can't control him anymore, as a flashback shows Go Yangjun meowing and attacking her like a beast. Mo Ji-eun insists he is no longer her concern, but Gae-mija pleads that she doesn't want to trouble her. Mo Ji-eun looks on with growing concern and asks about the man's condition. The scene shifts back to the chairman's grand residence at sunset. A meow sounds from beneath a pile of laundry on the floor. A strip of happy photos of the couple hangs on the wall. Go Yangjun is found crouching on the floor like a cat. Gae-mija explains that he has been crying in front of her picture and refuses to eat or sleep. Gae-mija attempts to explain that the man still has feelings for her. Mo Ji-eun stands before the cat-like man in his room. A close-up reveals his glowing yellow eyes as Mo Ji-eun shares her struggle. Mo Ji-eun huddles on the floor, overwhelmed by the uncertainty of their relationship. She asks him if he missed her and if he still likes her. Mo Ji-eun admits she is having a hard time because she isn't sure of his affection. She shouts that if he really liked her, he should have just said so. The two sit together on the floor in a moment of quiet connection. Go Yangjun meows and playfully bites a sleeve. He meows again and collapses onto her lap. Mo Ji-eun's eye widens as she reaches a sudden realization. She recalls how cold and unaffectionate he was during their office romance. A shocking thought suddenly strikes her. She looks back on their time at work and realizes he was always there. She remembers him glancing back at her in the office. She realizes that he was always by her side. Memory of his flustered expression at work flashes by. She looks at him now, thinking that even as a cat, he hasn't changed. Gae-mija is moved to tears while Go Yangjun meows with his tongue out. Mo Ji-eun hugs him from behind and demands to know the reason for the breakup. She declares she'll stay by his side until she gets an answer. Go Yangjun suddenly opens his mouth wide to strike. He meows and bites her hand, making her scream for him to let go. A desperate Chow wonders why he is acting this way. A final summary title confirms her new life with a cat boyfriend. A quick tapping sounds as Mo-Jiin's hands fly across her keyboard. She releases a long, relieved sigh and celebrates finishing her overtime work. Go Yangjun praises her work and apologizes for the overtime from off-screen. Mo-Ji-yoon explains to the hardworking man that the client requested their files late anyway. The two continue working diligently at the long cafe table. The manager notes that his heavy workload is only natural. A quick snap sounds as he closes his book, insisting that as team leader he must work the most. He stares blankly at the paper while Mo-Ji-yoon hums to herself. As Mo-Jiin prepares to leave, Go Yangjun suddenly calls out for her to wait. She asks if he wants her to buy coffee, but he quickly declines. Go Yangjun blushes deeply while covering his face in embarrassment. Mo-Jiin's face contorts in a scream of pure horror. He stands frozen as the man curls into a tight ball behind her. A heavy squish sounds as she realizes the man is sitting directly on top of her. Mo-Jiin desperately begs him not to crush her with his powerful haunches. She lies pinned to the floor under the man as text notes her boyfriend has turned into a cat. A blonde woman screams a desperate plea for Mo-Ji-yoon to help for just 1 year. She explains that a cure for Meow Meow syndrome is coming soon and begs for her assistance until then. Mo-Ji-yoon cries as the man's mother thanks her for looking after her partner. Mo-Ji-yoon asks the woman to remove Go Yangjun so she can prepare for work. She prepares to leave, saying goodbye to the crouched Go Yangjun. She waves goodbye, promising to return right after work tomorrow. Go Yangjun stares blankly while she cheerfully promises to see him in a bit. The scene shifts to the Gaidari Group office building the following day. Walking through the lobby, Mo-Ji-yoon wonders if his mother can really manage his care. She is suddenly startled by the thought of Go Yangjun. Baek-ina scares her from behind, asking if she is secretly dating the manager. Mo-Ji-in scolds her friend for the scare, while Baek-ina claims she was just pulling a prank. Baek-ina brags about calling dibs on the handsome and wealthy manager Go First. Mo-Ji-yoon feels guilty, knowing she is the one actually dating the man her friend wants to marry. She reminds herself to keep their relationship a secret, while Baek-ina worries about her lipstick. Thinking about him makes her so anxious she imagines she can hear his voice meowing. Her anxiety is proven right as Go Yangjun appears, licking the glass of the office door. Mo-Ji-in screams in shock at his presence while he simply offers a meow. Baek-ina happily greets the manager while Mo-Ji-in reels from the realization that he is actually there. Go Yangjun meows at his staff while a colleague offers a polite morning greeting. Mo-Ji-in panics as the meowing manager is chided by Baek-ina for being spaced out. She recalls the mother's request and realizes it included him coming to work in this state. A sudden gasp escapes Mo-Ji-in as she sees him crouching low on the office floor. She quickly joins him on the floor, claiming they're performing a back-stretching yoga pose. She fumes internally at the impossible task his mother has left her with. A vision of the mother sighing with relief floats over the office building. The workday begins in the busy office cubicles. A soft licking sound is heard as Go Yangjun begins grooming himself at his desk. Mo-Ji-in watches him closely, terrified of what he might do next. She imagines the scandal if coworkers caught the manager acting like a cat in public. She visualizes a news headline reporting on a chaebol heir licking himself in the office. A colleague asks for a file, pulling Mo-Ji-yoon back to her urgent tasks. She tries to focus on her work while keeping a desperate eye on Go Yangjun. A blinding flash of light appears suddenly. Mo-Ji-yoon looks on in pure shock. She looks down to find Go Yangjun reaching for the power button on her computer. He stares up from under the desk as her work is threatened by his feline instincts. The black-haired man meows while crawling across the office desk. Mo-Ji-yoon despairs over her lost work as the man demands the file. She tries to compose herself despite the mounting pressure. Tears stream down Mo-Ji-in's face as the request for the file repeats. She realizes she must take the blame to hide his cat-like behavior. A loud, sharp crash sounds as a mug shatters on the floor. Go Yangjun meows and scampers away from the scene of the accident. Colleagues whisper about the manager's volatile personality while Mo-Ji-yoon hides her face. Determined, Mo-Ji-yoon resolves to restrain him by any means necessary. She shouts his name as he crouches strangely atop the office tables. The black-haired man lolls his tongue out in a purely feline gesture. Mo-Ji-yoon lunges toward him, begging him to stay still for a moment. A sudden, heavy hug sounds as he leaps toward her with wires. Mo-Ji-yoon braces herself, certain she's about to be crushed. Looking into his glowing eyes, she feels a strange sense of familiarity. A deep sense of déjà vu washes over her in the darkness. Her mind drifts back to a similar moment exactly 1 year ago. In a memory, the manager holds her tightly in a dark room. He admits the danger of their secret embrace in the meeting room. The man continues to hold her, acknowledging the risk of their proximity. Their figures remain locked together in a silent, secret office romance. The embrace continues as she tries to process the sudden intimacy. He complains that she hasn't spoken a single word to him all day. Back in the present, she hugs him, realizing his antics were a plea for attention. She apologizes for her neglect while he responds with a simple meow. Mo-Ji-in gently tells him to stop causing trouble and seek her out when lonely. Her heart drops as she realizes her coworkers are watching them through the open door. Baek-ina stares with a face full of shocked betrayal. Mo-Ji-yoon's eyes widen in terror at the sight of her audience. She realizes with her that she completely forgot to lock the office door. A happy meow sounds as the man clings to a crying Mo-Ji-in. She remembers when she and Ina first became inseparable friends. They had once made a solemn pinky promise to share any dating news. The coworkers remain frozen in the doorway, staring at the intimate scene. Baek-ina screams her name in a fit of rage. The pink-haired woman demands to know if they are truly dating. A fierce demand for an answer echoes through the tense office. Bacon Eye is held back as she lashes out at the perceived betrayal. Mo Ji-yoon stands trembling while being accused of treating their promise like a joke. She struggles to find the right words to save herself. Mo Ji-yeon puts on a brave face and tries to laugh it off. She desperately claims she was only talking about a famous girl group. She sternly tells herself to stay focused or face certain doom. Mo Ji-yoon feels cornered like she's standing on a cliff surrounded by spears. She vows to protect both her secret relationship and his cat-like state. Ina remains unconvinced, calling her behavior utterly shameless. Mo Ji-yoon breathes a sigh of relief as her friend's anger begins to boil over. A sudden heavy thud sounds as the chairman's wife enters the room. Gi-mi-ja stands with her assistant, surveying the office with a stern gaze. A sharp click sounds as a high heel steps down, punctuating the madam's question about the rumors. Gi-mi-ja lets out a thunderous shout that fills the room. The older woman vehemently denies the dating rumors while Yang Jun slumps lazily in a chair. She dismisses the idea of the pair staying late for secret trysts in the office. Gi-mi-ja threatens legal action against anyone spreading rumors about a scene at a cafe. The blonde woman wipes her brow, hoping to have finally silenced the workplace gossip. She gives Mo Ji-yoon a conspiratorial wink, pleased with her intervention. Gi-mi-ja and her security detail flee the scene with triumphant laughter. A blushing Mo Ji-yeon begins a hesitant admission while Yang Jin remains in a feline daze. Mo Ji-yeon's sudden shout confirming her relationship with the manager shocks everyone present. Ina reacts with extreme frustration at the way her friend chose to break the news. Gi-mi-ja returns to question the younger woman's outburst, ignoring her clear distress. Mo Ji-yoon laments her ruined secret as the older woman offers a patronizing pat. Mo Ji-yoon demands to know why the cat-like man was brought into the office. Gi-mi-ja cites expert advice about maintaining a human lifestyle to cure his condition. Frustrated, Mo Ji-yoon decides to get back to her duties as the older woman tries to stall her. Panic sets in as Mo Ji-yoon realizes Go Young-jun has vanished from the rube. The sun begins to set over the building as the search for the missing man begins. Both women frantically call out his name through the empty office corridors. Gi-mi-ja shares a terrifying statistic she discovered online regarding lost cats. The blonde woman screams about the high probability of never finding him if the 2-hour mark passes. Mo Ji-yoon suggests recruiting staff to help, but Gi-mi-ja complains about the company's lack of overtime enforcement. Mo Ji-yeon takes charge and runs off to search the lower levels of the building. A discarded coffee cup marks the end of the standard workday for most employees. The black-haired bodyguard checks if Ina is finishing up her tasks for the evening. Ina lingers at her desk, sipping coffee while processing the day's bizarre events. A sudden, distant shout startles the pink-haired woman from her thoughts. Mo Ji-yoon sprints through the cubicles, brandishing cat treats while calling for the manager. The exhausted woman stops to catch her breath, her face flushed from the exertion. A quick trip and a sharp slip sound as Mo Ji-yoon's foot catches on the floor. She crashes to the ground, scattering the treats across the office carpet. Ina finds her friend groaning in pain and rushes over to help. The pink-haired woman demands an explanation for Mo Ji-yoon's frantic behavior. Mo Ji-yoon tries to brush off the incident with a forced smile, telling her friend to go home. She continues to lie about her condition while still huddled on the floor. Ina's skeptical expression suggests she is not falling for the obvious deception. Mo Ji-yoon looks up with a wide-eyed expression of guilt and anxiety. Tears well in her eyes as the pressure of the situation becomes too much to bear. Ina contemplates the absurdity of the manager's condition and his sudden disappearance. She questions if the search was the reason for Mo Ji-yoon's strange actions throughout the day. Ina expresses her deep hurt over the secret relationship, while Mo Ji-yoon defends her silence. The pink-haired woman shouts her disapproval, feeling her loyalty was undervalued. Mo Ji-yoon is touched when her friend immediately begins searching for the manager inside a bin. Reconciled, the two friends resolve to find the missing man before time runs out. Mo Ji-yoon checks in with Gi-mi-ja, who reveals that the critical 2-hour window is closed. A sense of doom hangs over the group as the blonde woman explains the grim outlook. A sudden heavy thud sounds as someone collapses in despair. Mo Ji-yeon wails for Go Yang-jin, fearing he is gone for good. A man in the suit begins prowling the floor on all fours, mimicking a cat's movements. A sharp meow sounds as the man kicks his leg back in a bizarre feline display. The observers stare in total bewilderment at the man's inexplicable performance. The black-haired man is discovered on all fours in the office, while a thought wonders if he was hiding in the restroom. Mo Ji-yoon and Baek-ina catch their breath, relieved that the manager wasn't actually missing. Mo Ji-yoon confesses to her pink-haired friend that she has been secretly dating the manager for quite some time. Baek-ina responds with a playful wink and a supportive smile. Sitting on the floor, the two friends seal their new alliance with a solemn pinky promise. A sudden rhythmic clapping sounds as the black-haired man watches the girl's promise and lets out a meow. A lone, smiling pill-shaped creature sits on the carpet as a voice asks about the status of their work. Gi-mi-ja tells the worried group not to fret about the manager's current condition. Mo Ji-yeon is stunned to learn that a friend of the manager's will be filling in for him. Narrative text explains that the substitute is a highly skilled childhood friend of the manager. The women are impressed and excited to meet someone with such a high reputation in the industry. As night falls over the building, Gi-mi-ja confirms the new arrival is scheduled for next week. The city lights glimmer against the backdrop of the towering office buildings. A hand holds a registration card for Go Yang-jun, noting the arrival of a friend. A man in a tailored suit gazes at his phone in the dim light. A cold, piercing violet eye narrows with intense focus. The blonde man shouts a vow of vengeance, promising to destroy everything Go Yang-jin has built. Surrounded by several cats, the man screams a final warning for his rival to wait for him. Mo Ji-yoon calls her parents to check in, admitting that her life has become quite difficult lately. Two older male managers whisper and giggle behind their hands as they watch the scene unfold. Narrative text laments how the secret relationship has become the talk of the entire office. The coworkers mockingly call Mo Ji-yoon the future lady of the company while she hides her face in embarrassment. Ina tries to comfort her friend, questioning if love is really something to be ashamed of. Mo Ji-yoon apologizes for her sensitivity just before the black-haired man interrupts with another meow. A proud meow sounds as the manager cat bites a toupee right off a coworker's head. The balding man and the women watch in shock as the manager cat continues his feline antics. Mo Ji-yoon screams at the man to drop the disgusting hairpiece immediately. A long, straining sound echoes as Mo Ji-yoon tries to pull the manager cat away from his prize. A sharp, crisp snap sound from someone's fingers. The balding man lets out a confused sound as he is suddenly distracted. A sudden, fast-moving blur knocks the manager cat back with a heavy thump. Mo Ji-yoon is baffled to see a hairless cat walking calmly through the office with the wig. The Sphinx cat stares back with an intense gaze, still holding the stolen hairpiece. A refined voice scolds the manager cat for causing trouble for the young ladies. A handsome blonde man appears, cradling the Sphinx cat while checking on the women's well-being. The man places a hand over his heart in a polite, formal gesture. Striking a dramatic pose, the newcomer introduces himself as the new deputy general manager. Ina is immediately smitten by the man, who explains he left a perfume conglomerate to help his ill friend. Mo Ji-yoon realizes this is the specific friend the chairman's wife had mentioned previously. The blonde man leans in and bluntly asks Mo Ji-yoon if she is the manager's lover. He offers a warm handshake, encouraging her to treat him as a close colleague. Mo Ji-yoon observes his hands, thinking he seems surprisingly normal despite the circumstances. The manager cat lets out a meow while licking the blonde man's finger with his tongue. Mo Ji-yoon chases the manager cat away while the blonde man lets out a soft, suspicious chuckle. Sniffing his hand, the blonde man thinks he can smell fear and mentions the manager's supposed yoga obsession. His eyes gleam with malice as he resolves to strip everything away from his childhood friend. The blonde man vows to start his revenge by stealing Go Young-jun's girlfriend for himself. A coffee machine dispenses a fresh cup in the office break room. Coworkers gossip about the suspicious timing of the new hire despite his attractive appearance. Gi Mija peeks out from a shelf and shouts that she can hear every word of their gossip. The blonde man laughs, telling the brown-haired woman not to worry because his presence won't interfere with company work. A sudden flurry of papers startles the brown-haired woman. Deputy General Manager Bong shouts at Mo Ji-yoon for her poor work performance, telling her to save the excuses. Bong points to a Sphinx cat named Pink that is typing on a laptop, saying he would rather give the job to the feline. Bong harshly asks if she came to the company just to flirt, while her coworkers snicker behind her back. Mo Ji-yoon fumes as she walks away, unable to argue because of her actual office romance. Narrative text explains that step 1 is a success and that pushing a woman away is the first step to getting closer. Bong Soo-hyuk sits in a serious pose as text reveals he has had 0 past relationships. Bong worries his charms are being shared with other women while the girls collectively label him a psycho. He decides to move to step 2 as the scene shifts to a cafe. Mo Ji-yoon orders coffee while Go Yang-jun crouches on the floor and lets out a meow. A sudden shout from Mo Ji-yoon to wait stops her from paying with her card. Bong leans in close and hands Mo Ji-yoon a card to use for the payment. Bong claims it is a secret black card for the elite, but Mo Ji-yoon dryly notes it is just a corporate card. Mo Ji-yoon whispers a question about the man's sanity as she leads Go Young-jun away. Bong smugly assumes she is falling for him and is just acting prickly to hide her attraction. Bong and Pink the cat chase after the group, insisting they have coffee together. A hand touches Mo Ji-yoon's shoulder as Bong claims he has plenty of money from a government relief fund. Go Young-jun launches a rapid-fire kitty punch combo that knocks Bong backward with a cry. Go Yang-jun sprints away on all fours while Mo Ji-yoon looks on in total confusion. Go Young-jun lets out a series of meows while Mo Ji-yoon calls out his name. Back at the office, Mo Ji-yoon and Ina discuss why the manager seems so wary of Bong. A series of flashbacks show the manager blocking Bong's handshake and attacking him at the cafe. Mo Ji-yoon observes that the two men don't act like close friends at all. Ina asks if the manager's behavior is the reason Bong is bothering your friend. The girls shout at their coworkers to go away after they suggest the conflict is caused by jealousy. Bong lets out an evil laugh while hiding behind a wall with his hairless cap. Bong gazes with an intense expression, believing Mo Ji-yoon's heart is already decided. Narrative text asks if it is time to move on to the final step. Mo Ji-yoon is relieved to finally be heading home at the end of the day. She hopes to drop off Go Yang-jun and rest, but Bong calls her name again. Bong appears in front of the building with a large bouquet of roses and asks her to go out with him. The blonde man continues his dramatic public confession while Mo Ji-yoon and Ina stare in horror. Mo Ji-yoon covers her face in shame as the pressure of the harassment becomes unbearable. A faded image recalls the day's constant gossip and workplace bullying. A heavy thud sounds as Mo Ji-yoon collapses to her knees. Mo Ji-yoon wails loudly in front of the company building. Bong assumes she is crying from joy while Mo Ji-yoon screams for the men to get away from her. Bong gloats to Go Young-jun, claiming that he has successfully won Mo Ji-yoon's heart. The blonde man strikes a proud pose next to Pink while Mo Ji-yoon remains hunched on the ground. Go Yangjun moves closer, determined to take back what is his. Go Yangjun suddenly grabs Bong by the lapels, catching him completely off guard. The women watch in bewilderment as Go Yangjun confronts the blonde man. Go Yangjun leans in very close to the blonde man's face. Go Yangjun clings to Bong's torso and begins nuzzling the man's ear. Bong giggles uncontrollably, admitting that his earlobes are his weak spot while the girls watch in shock. Mo Jian frantically tells Go Yangjun to get away from Bong. Go Yangjun lets out a loud, aggressive meow. Mo Ji-yoon is stunned and wonders why the manager is hissing at her. A sudden realization strikes Mo Ji-yoon that Go Yangjun was acting out of jealousy for Bong, not her. Mo Ji-yoon's thoughts scream in disbelief as she wonders if Go Yangjun likes the blonde man more than her. The black-haired man continues to cling to Bong Soo-hyuk, who lets out a strained, awkward groan. Mo Ji-yoon's eyes well with tears while a narrative caption promises that the story will continue. A title card shifts the scene to a kindergarten talent show from 25 years ago. Gae Mija enthusiastically cheers for young Go Yangjun as he prepares to perform with his class. Two young boys stand on stage playing their recorders for the school audience. Young Go Yangjun playfully blows air from his recorder directly into the young blonde boy's ear. A high-pitched whinnying sound comes from the young blonde boy as he reacts to the ticklish sensation. The young blonde boy forces a smile through his obvious and growing distress. A student alerts the teacher that Bong Soo-hyuk is making strange noises while the boy lets out a loud moaning sound. Narrative text explains that humiliating nicknames from the incident followed Bong Soo-hyuk for the rest of his school life. At age 17, a bitter Bong Soo-hyuk tells his cat that Go Yangjun is the reason he is an outcast. 17-year-old Go Yangjun is genuinely confused by the accusation while surrounded by several felines. The black-haired teenager asks why his friend considers the incident to be his fault. Go Yangjun casually ignores the confrontation to ask about a comic book, leaving Bong Soo-hyuk speechless. Bong Soo-hyuk's resentment boils over as he vows to get revenge on the man who refuses to apologize. Back in the present, a soft whimpering sound echoes over the shimmering city skyline. Bong Soo-hyuk pleads for Go Yangjun to stop his physical affection and release him. Pink, the hairless cat, watches the scene with a look of mounting concern. A sudden realization strikes the Sphinx cat that a romantic rival has finally appeared. The next day, Pink the cat lets out a series of meows as she races across the office floor. The hairless cat, now recognized as Pink manager, diligently taps away at a laptop keyboard. Go Yangjun crouches on the floor and watches the cat work with curious meows. Narrative text explains that the black-haired man is simply trying to offer a gesture of friendship. Go Yangjun reaches out a hand toward the laptop to greet his feline colleague. Pink delivers a rapid-fire flurry of punches to Go Yangjun's face in a sudden display of aggression. Stunned by the attack, Go Yangjun watches as the hairless cat prepares to let out another sound. The Pink manager lets out a ferocious, wide-mouthed meow to assert her dominance. Bong Soo-hyuk watches his friend crawl away on all fours and declares that he cannot forgive the ongoing behavior. Bong Soo-hyuk fumes, believing Go Yangjun is intentionally targeting his secret sensitive spot to humiliate him again. The blonde man is suddenly unsettled as he wonders why his heart has begun to race. Bong Soo-hyuk was frustrated that his friend's cat-like antics are successfully confusing his emotions. Go Yangjun grabs Bong Soo-hyuk's leg and refuses to let go despite the man shouting. Gi Mia observes the chaos and worries that the friction between the men will stop their new project. The blonde woman explains their plan to launch a brand that will dominate the pet market. Gi Mija proudly reveals that the venture is officially titled Project Hairball. Gi Mija notes that the project cannot proceed as long as one of the men clearly hates the other. The blonde woman strokes her chin and wonders how she can force the two rivals to reconcile. Gae Mija turns her attention toward Mo Ji-yoon, who is sitting quietly on the floor. Mo Ji-yoon is shocked and demands to know why she is being asked to help them. Gae Mija points out that Mo Ji-yoon is uniquely close to both Bong Soo-hyuk and Go Yangjun. Mo Ji-yoon questions the request given the current difficult situation she faces at the company. The brown-haired woman laments that she has gone from being the subject of gossip to an object of pity. Mo Ji-yoon screams a final refusal to take responsibility, causing Gi Mija to back down in surprise. Gae Mija complains to In about her friend's growing irritability as they walk away together. The blonde woman decides that she will simply handle the reconciliation process by herself. A sharp, commanding voice echoes through the room, demanding the men's immediate attention. Gae Mija scolds the two men for fighting like children and orders them not to leave until they make up. Gi Mija suddenly suggests that she and Ina go out for food while leaving the men trapped in the office. Bong Soo-hyuk is left in despair as Gae Mija happily leads Ina away to find some noodles. Bong Soo-hyuk refuses to reconcile without an apology. Go Yangjun meows while Bong scolds him. Bong Soo-hyuk clenches his jaw in frustration. Bong Soo-hyuk demands to be listened to. The blonde man is shocked by his actions. Bong marvels at the unique physical sensation. Go Yangjun wiggles his rear with meows. Bong Soo-hyuk gazes at him in disbelief. A subtle smile forms on Bong's face. Bong enthusiastically delivers playful pats to Go Yangjun. Bong Soo-hyuk continues his relentless patting session. Go Yangjun crawls away during the confrontation. Go Yangjun exposes his belly as Bong gasps. Bong Soo-hyuk yields to his overwhelming temptation. Bong Soo-hyuk delivers a raspberry to the belly. Bong relishes Go Yangjun's look of hatred. Bong Soo-hyuk pledges to deliver more raspberries. Bong smugly believes he has won again. Mo Ji-yoon searches the office for her manager. Mo Ji-yoon notices manager Pink peeking into her room. Mo Ji-yoon cautiously peeks through the open door. Bong Soo-hyuk delivers multiple raspberries to the belly. Bong Soo-hyuk panics as Mo Ji-eun witnesses them. Mo Ji-eun is frozen in total shock. Mo Ji-eun screams about the perceived workplace racism. Furious coworkers arrive to intervene on her behalf. Coworkers pummel Bong while Mo Ji-eun scolds Go Yangjun. Bong Soo-hyuk laments the failure of their plan. Ina and Gae Mi-ja argue over soup seasoning. A black-haired woman notes the party's original purpose. The black-haired woman wonders if they should cancel. Coworkers insist the company dinner must continue. Everyone cheers as Mo Ji-eun arrives late. The chaotic welcoming dinner begins without Bong. Bong Si-hook weeps alone in his bed. A beer mug is slammed down forcefully. Mo Ji-eun enjoys the sweet taste of alcohol. Mo Ji-eun recalls the day's many embarrassing incidents. Mo Ji-eun vows to go all out tonight. Go Yangjun meows at several older lady patrons. Mo Ji-eun apologizes for her drunk boyfriend. Mo Ji-eun fears Go Yangjun's natural feline allure. Go Yangjun is labeled a fatal office seducer. Go Yangjun stares blankly with empty, hollow eyes. Mo Ji-eun orders her manager to stay still. Mo Ji-eun offers snacks to keep him calm. Mo Ji-eun finds her manager cute while feeding. Mo Ji-eun notes his ongoing silent disobedience. Go Yangjun's head suddenly slumps down sideways. Mo Ji-eun reacts with intense shock and alarm. Mo Ji-eun vents her frustration about how much Go Yangjun enjoyed the deputy general manager's touch while refusing her own. Mo Ji-eun shouts that she will pet the manager no matter what, while Ina dismisses the behavior as a lover's quarrel. Mo Ji-eun tearfully calls Go Yangjun mean for ignoring all the care she has provided him. Mo Ji-eun slams her mug down while demanding to know why she cannot even pet him a little bit. Ina watches in surprise as her friend's outburst leads to a mess on the table. Mo Ji-eun apologizes frantically for the spill while Ina tries to calm her down and find some tissues. Outside the restaurant, Ina insists the spill was fine, but a dejected Mo Ji-eun remains upset by the situation. Ina turns to look at her friend with a concerned expression. Ina asks if her friend is crying while Mo Ji-eun lets out a series of drunken, sobbing wails. Mo Ji-eun admits that she has been feeling deeply hurt by her manager's behavior lately. The brown-haired woman laments that the manager is cold only to her while being warm to everyone else. Mo Ji-eun coughs as she explains that despite the situation, her feelings are genuinely hurt. Ina bursts into laughter as Mo Ji-eun asks her friend if she is all right. Ina claims she just remembered something funny while Mo Ji-eun offers to get her some water. Mo Ji-eun looks on with a bewildered expression. A beer mug hits the table as someone asks how a person can do nothing but work. 1 year ago, a frustrated Mo Ji-eun stares at her phone and suggests her boyfriend should just date the company instead. Ina asks if her boyfriend is calling while Mo Ji-eun stuffs her mouth with food and explains she already told him she was out drinking. A phone screen shows an incoming call from manager Go Yangjun while Mo Ji-eun complains that he never eats with her. Mo Ji-eun groans while passed out on the table as someone tells her to wake up. Ina looks for a taxi for her friend as a man in a suit suddenly appears. The black-haired man looks flustered as Ina recognizes him as assistant manager Lee. Ina asks what he is doing there, leading the stammering man to claim he was just taking a walk in the neighborhood. A hand gently strokes the hair of the sleeping Mo Ji-eun as she mutters about her manager being a jerk. Assistant manager Lee looks at the drunken woman with a soft expression. Assistant manager Lee prepares to lift his colleague. The man carries Mo Ji-eun over his shoulder and claims he saw her address on an emergency contact list after Ina asks how he will get her home. Ina says goodbye to assistant manager Lee while watching them depart with a suspicious look. Ina watches the man carry her sleeping friend away and wonders if the two of them were actually dating. Narrative text notes that Ina finds the memory strange and suspects they were involved even back then. Like back in the present, Ina laughs while Mo Ji-eun is left stuttering in total embarrassment. Ina tells Mo Ji-eun she understands her pain but believes the manager's coldness is a specific cause. Ina suggests the manager is simply shy, leaving Mo Ji-eun to repeat the idea in disbelief. Mo Ji-eun continues to cry about being ignored while Ina notes how sensitive her friend has become. Ina tells her friend to look at what is happening right behind her. Go Yangjun crouches on the ground and lets out a strange cat-like meow. Mo Ji-eun asks if he came out because he was worried about her while Ina tells the meowing man to read the room. Mo Ji-eun admits she will be sad if he continues to refuse her touch while Go Yangjun responds with a meow. Go Yangjun crawls closer and lets out a loud, insistent meow. Mo Ji-eun giggles and tells the manager that he is honestly hopeless. A loud, sharp slap sounds as Mo Ji-eun spanks the manager's rear up. Ina watches her hand shake as Mo Ji-eun playfully asks if the man wants to be spanked more. A horrified Ina tries to pretend she saw nothing at all while Mo Ji-eun and the meowing manager continue their flirtatious exchange. Narrative text explains that the company dinner continues with Mo Ji-eun singing enthusiastically. Time passes as the night ends and someone calls out for a taxi. Mo Ji-eun says goodbye to her colleagues as they wish her a safe trip home. Mo Ji-eun climbs into the taxi while her colleagues exchange final farewells for the night. Ina waves and tells Mo Ji-eun that she is rooting for her. Mo Ji-eun looks out the taxi window with a thoughtful and blushing face. Mo Ji-eun waves one last time and promises to see everyone on Monday. Madam announces her arrival home late at night. Gae Mi-ja tells Mo Ji-eun to stay the night since the workday is officially over. Mo Ji-eun realizes it is far too late to travel home now. Bong Soo-hyuk and his cat snore loudly together in bed. Mo Ji-eun sleeps soundly in a dark guest room. A door creaks open as a shadow enters the room. Mo Ji-eun wakes up at the sound of a sudden creak. Go Yang-jun looms over her bed in the darkness. Mo Ji-eun screams in terror after seeing her manager. She wonders what he is doing there in the middle of the night. Go Yang-jun leans down very close to her face. Mo Ji-eun continues to shout his name in a panic. She is totally bewildered by his presence in her room. A sudden sharp gasp sounds as a hand reaches for her. Mo Jae-yoon frantically demands to know where he is touching her. Go Yang-jun tells her to calm down before letting out a soft meow. He continues to meow while leaning over her. Mo Ji-eun fears he has become a complete beast and asks what he is doing. She worries he is satisfying a secret urge and insists she is not ready. Mo Ji-eun screams that she needs more time to prepare herself. Go Yang-jun delivers a massive, wet suction kiss to her cheek. Go Yang-jun crouches on the floor while letting out a meow. Mo Ji-eun watches in confusion as he continues his feline behavior. She expresses total disbelief at the night's strange events. The next morning, a command to hold someone tight echoes out. Guy Mija orders the guards to force medicine into the hissing manager's mouth. Mo Ji-eun asks what is happening, and Guy Mija explains she is medicating Youngjun. Guy Mija laments the daily struggle of managing his symptoms until a cure is found. Mo Ji-eun complains that she could not sleep at all last night. She notes that this chaos happens every single morning. Go Youngjun finally swallows the pill with a visible gulp. He immediately spits the pill directly onto Mo Ji-eun's face. Mo Ji-eun calls out his name with a menacing, dark expression. She begins a terrifying countdown while holding the medicine. Go Yangjun pounces as she reaches the end of the count. Mo Ji-eun easily handles the manager and receives a compliment from Gae Mija. Gae Mija realizes that her son only listens to Mo Ji-eun and gets an idea. Mo Ji-eun looks up as the group stares at her expectantly. Gae Mija asks Mo Ji-eun to medicate him daily, which she immediately rejects. Mo Ji-eun refuses to commute 5 hours early just to help. Gae Mija suggests that the two of them should simply live together. Silence falls over the house as birds chirp in the distance. A sudden, loud backup beep sounds as Mo Ji-eun recoils in shock. A moving truck begins backing up into the driveway. Gae Mija dismisses Mo Ji-eun's protests, claiming it is already late to move in. Mo Ji-eun demands a house first, but Gae Mija lectures her on property taxes. Mo Ji-eun panics as she sees a box of her plushies. A loud, messy thud sounds as the guard begins dumping the boxes. Mo Ji-eun is horrified to learn that her things are being thrown away. She desperately searches for her favorite Japanese hamster plushie, Hamskis. Gae Mija tells Yang-jun to chew on the doll as Mo Ji-eun screams in horror for Hamkas. Mo Ji-eun mourns her limited edition doll from Japan, but the madam tells her to be quiet since Yang-jun is concentrating. Gae Mija encourages Yang-jun to express his feelings exactly as they are. A shaking Mo Ji-eun watches the manager continue to chew on her favorite plushie. Mo Ji-eun grabs Gae Mija's hair in a fit of vengeance while the older woman lets out a pained oof. Narrative text observes that living together is a complex decision as a plushie is ripped apart. Despite her early protests, Mo Ji-eun's room is filled with chaotic junk and extra air conditioners. A transition explains that the move was completed regardless of her feelings. The scene shifts to show how Mo Ji-eun's home was once perfectly decorated with cute trinkets. Her space has now been reduced to a messy pigsty overflowing with boxes and junk. Mo Ji-eun falls to her knees, lamenting the loss of her sanctuary. Mo Ji-eun lets out a drunken sob. Mo Ji-eun notices Gae Mija nearby and tentatively calls out to her. Mo Ji-eun realizes that the madam must be the one struggling most with Youngjun's condition. Gae Mija wonders how things ended up this way, while Mo Ji-eun tells her not to worry. Mo Ji-eun promises to stay by Youngjun's side, leading the older woman to thank her for the comfort. Gae Mija hides a subtle smirk behind her handkerchief. The madam laments that Youngjun has to live in such a cramped pigsty, catching the younger woman off guard. A sudden moment of clarity hits Mo Ji-eun. Mo Ji-eun recalls the madam's many dramatic incidents. Narrative text highlights that this woman is the source of all her recent misfortune. Gae Mija continues her performance, claiming to be the most miserable person in the world. Mo Ji-eun reaches her breaking point and decides to give the woman a piece of her mind. Mo Ji-eun tries to protest, but Gae Mija interrupts to say she almost forgot something. The older woman reaches into her bag and presents a massive stack of cash. Gae Mija explains she is paying in cash because of tax headaches and promises a monthly delivery. The madam asks if there was something else needed, leaving Mo Ji-eun stammering in shock. Mo Ji-eun bows politely as Gae Mija prepares to leave for her aesthetic appointment. A voice vows to serve the prince while another suggests taking it easy. Mo Ji-eun rests on her bed, considering the trade-off of a messy room for a boyfriend and cash. She decides the situation might not be so bad after all. Mo Ji-eun addresses Go Yang-jun as he crouches on the bed. She asks if he wants to finish what they started the previous night. Go Yang-jun looks up with a curious and expectant expression. Mo Ji-eun rationalizes that physical affection is good for mental health while the manager meows. She lets out a playful kya as a sharp slap sounds and she scolds him for making her say it. A mysterious man in a hat watches from the shadows as Mo Ji-eun promises to shower the manager with touches. The man stares intensely at a shipping box with Mo Ji-eun's name on it. A menacing bearded man with a glowing red eye glares through the darkness. Narrative text announces that Hamkas has arrived on Naver Webtoon. A cartoon hamster cries while promising to endure the hardships ahead. Narrative text notes the start of their life together as a mysterious man appears. A command to come over right now echoes as the manager meows. Mo Ji-yoon embraces the manager, mentioning how much she wanted to bite him at the office. A sudden doorbell ring interrupts their playful moment as Mo Ji-yoon wonders who is there. Mo Ji-yoon promises to adore the manager more later as he lets out a soft meow. Mo Ji-yoon opens the door, declaring she is not interested in joining a religion. A massive bearded man in a bucket hat looms silently over the doorway. The man greets Ji-yoon and notes that it has been a very long time. Mo Ji-yoon lets out a gasp of total shock upon seeing her visitor. Mo Ji-yoon faces her towering father. Mo Ji-yoon reels in shock as narrative text notes her father arrived while she was living with her boyfriend. Mo Hwang-chul greets his daughter after a long time while she stammeringly reacts to his presence. Mo Ji-yoon panics and asks what he is doing there, but the man says he heard work has been difficult. Mo Ji-yoon screams in terror while recalling office gossip, but her father explains he decided to stop by since he was in the city. The man presents gifts and expresses his love, leaving the woman grateful but incredibly nervous. Mo Ji-yoon spots her manager's rear in the room and realizes the timing is terrible as her father mentions homegrown cucumbers. She frantically blocks the doorway and demands he wait while the man tries to bring in the bags. Mo Ji-yoon claims the house is messy and she needs to clean it, rejecting her father's offer to help. The bearded man grows suspicious and asks if she is hiding something, but she insists everything is fine. Her father senses a strange presence while a sudden clear meow echoes from inside the room. The woman is frozen in a state of absolute shock. Mo Ji-yoon frantically lies and claims she is raising a cat, but her father shouts her name in disbelief. The man demands to know if she heard the sound, certain of what it truly was. Her father imagines a man dressed as a cat and declares that someone is definitely hiding in the house. He orders her to call the police while she desperately tries to explain the situation. Mo Ji-yoon finally blurts out the truth that she is living with her boyfriend. Heavy silence fills the hallway. Her father lets out a thunderous shout of disbelief at her confession. Narrative text calls for coffee as a paper cup is shown. Mo Ji-yoon serves coffee as the three of them sit on the floor, including the manager who remains on all fours. Her father begins a sharp interrogation about the manager's career while narrative text notes the intensity of the meeting. Go Young-jun lets out a wide yawn like a cat, leading the woman to plead for a friendlier greeting while her father asks if it matters. Mo Ji-yoon explains he is a department manager, but her father immediately asks for his age. Her father demands to know why she is answering for him as she explains the manager has a disease that makes him act like a cat. Mo Ji-yoon promises a proper meeting later when he is in a better state, but her father flatly refuses to approve. The woman reacts with wide-eyed shock at his sudden rejection. Her father asks if she moved to the city just to care for a sick man and insists they should break up immediately. A sudden, quiet realization crosses the woman's face. Mo Ji-yoon stands up and declares she will do exactly as he says since they were already living together. She shouts that she will not get married, prompting a shocked reaction from her father. Her father scolds her for their modern living arrangement while she asks if this isn't what he wanted. Mo Ji-yoon continues to yell about not marrying while narrative text observes the argument taking a bizarre turn. Her father claims he is only worried about the person she lives with, but she asks why he is being so mean. The woman cries that she only wanted a nice conversation after being apart for so long. Her father is silenced and looks down with a pained expression. Go Young-jun lets out a soft meow while happily clinging to a large blue box. Her father complains about the interruption during a serious talk as a quiet giggle escapes the woman. Mo Ji-yoon bursts into a fit of genuine bright laughter. Her father watches as she playfully tends to the manager, noting that she finally laughed. The man realizes his daughter hadn't smiled once until she interacted with the manager. A flashback shows her father walking with his young daughter as she talks about marrying a boy named Min-sik. Little Ji-yoon scolds her father about bigamy being a crime while he wonders what her mother is teaching her. He recalls asking what kind of man she wants to be with and her promise to listen to his advice. Her childhood laughter fills the memory. Dad reaches for his hidden drink. The man addresses Go Yang-jin by name and identifies him as the one who makes his daughter smile. A booming approval echoes out. Her father begins chugging a bottle of soju as Mo Ji-yoon calls out to him in surprise. The man crouches on the floor, completely drunk, as Mo Ji-yoon warns him about his alcohol tolerance while the manager meows. Mo Hwang-chul barks and growls while on all fours, ordering the manager to stop causing a scene. Go Yang-jin meows from his crouched position as the father continues to bark, creating a chaotic display of communication that leaves the daughter exhausted. Mo Ji-yoon stares blankly into space, wishing she could go home before realizing she is already there. As the barking and meowing continue inside the apartment, the narrative notes that while it is a madhouse, the first meeting was a success. The scene shifts to the office, where a sign marks Meeting Room 5. Assistant Manager Lee begins the marketing meeting for Project Hairball while Mo Ji-yoon and her colleagues gather around the table. The black-haired woman presents a slide of cat products explaining the catchphrase and the organic connection between the items. Assistant Manager Lee continues her presentation, highlighting how the marketing strategy will emphasize resolving inconveniences through interconnected products. A pink-haired colleague notes how sharp Lee is today, while Mo Ji-yoon attributes it to the scale of the project as Lee mentions looking for cat influencers. Lee explains the planned collaborations with various cities to promote the brand. A voice suddenly interrupts the presentation, calling the strategy banal and pedantic as the team looks on in shock. A blonde-haired man lets out a wide, loud yawn that echoes through the room. A caption asks why Bong Soo-hyuk has not resigned yet as the blonde man offers a smug smile. The black-haired assistant manager lets out her own yawn in response. Dialogue bubbles criticize the marketing as too cliché and pretentious, insisting that it should be more tightly woven. Mo Jian and her colleague react with shock as someone points a finger and shouts at the presenter. Bong Soo-hyuk is identified as the deputy general manager while he continues his dramatic yawning. The blonde man declares that he will have to teach the women in the room about marketing himself. Bong Soo-hyuk steers forward with a confident, knowing grin. A title card interrupts to tell the readers to hold on for a moment. Grayscale text notes that readers are likely wondering why this man has not quit his job yet. Narrative text acknowledges reader criticism regarding the realism of the workplace setting, but promises to reveal a hidden fact. A small person in a hat peeks out from behind a bed, and narrative text notes that the responsibility for the recent scandals lies elsewhere. A large spiked bubble emphasizes that the responsibility for the chaos is obvious. Bong Soo-hyuk points at himself, claiming that Go Yang-jun is the true source of the trouble and that he is not responsible. Bong Soo-hyuk lets out a triumphant laugh while Go Yang-jun crouches under the table nearby. Narrative text explains that Bong Soo-hyuk developed a fear of the manager, leading him to scream in terror when the black-haired woman asks for his feedback. The assistant manager asks for his input, catching the blonde man off guard as he lets out a startled exclamation. Bong Soo-hyuk asks if she is snapping at him, prompting the woman to try and explain her intentions. Bong Soo-hyuk presents a small hairless cat wearing a tie, claiming he is simply translating the words of Manager Pink. The pink-haired woman is appalled that he would blame a cat for his own words while her colleague recalls a rumor about this situation. The man with glasses explains the rumor of a competent cat manager and a useless human translator at a rival group as Bong Soo-hyuk stands proudly by the feline. Narrative text identifies the pair as the worst duo in their company. Bong Soo-hyuk celebrates his victory over Go Yang-jun while the manager looks on with a grumpy expression. Later, assistant manager Lee admits the feedback was reasonable but wonders why it came so late, noting that she is personally annoyed. Lee grows angry at the thought of an incompetent person nitpicking her work as Bong Soo-hyuk struggles with his computer in the background. Mo Ji-eun vows to take revenge on Bong Soo-hyuk, realizing that the success of the project is her only priority. Narrative text emphasizes that the success of Project Hairball is absolutely mandatory. A caption recalls that the cause of the manager's syndrome was excessive stress. The physician explains that successfully completing the project might lead to an improvement in the manager's condition. Mo Ji-eun and the madam are hopeful as the older woman notes that Yang-jun was indeed stressed by the project. The doctor notes that while a full recovery isn't guaranteed, treatment should help, while a crouched Go Yang-jun wonders what people are looking at. Narrative text observes that the idea of the manager returning to normal feels like a distant memory. Mo Ji-eun imagines a handsome human Go Yang-jun asking her for overtime as the madam notes their scandalous past at the office. Mo Ji-eun excitedly promises to work hard for the project, while the manager jumps on the doctor in the background. Mo Ji-eun tells the assistant manager she has thought of a specific method to handle Bong Soo-hyuk and help Yang-jun. Mo Ji-eun holds up the hunched manager as he lets out a soft meow. Mo Ji-eun smiles brightly and suggests that a cat must be handled with another cat. The assistant manager is confused, asking why the department manager would ever be a cat. Mo Ji-eun nervously claims the manager has a cat-like charm as her colleague teases her about bragging about her boyfriend. Assistant manager Lee laughs about thinking the manager was a real cat, while Mo Ji-eun apologizes and listens to Lee's observation about her relaxed attitude. Bong Soo-hyuk trembles in fear of the hairless cat Pink, considering an approval to avoid another beating from the feline manager. Bong Soo-hyuk crouches on all fours and meows at Pink, questioning if they will let themselves be defeated by another manager. Pink launches a powerful kick that sends Bong Soo-hyuk flying through the air as he lets out a startled cry. Pink sits commandingly in the manager's chair while a sweating Bong Soo-hyuk looks on and meows in confusion. Bong Soo-hyuk remains on the floor, meowing back at Pink as he tries to communicate in the cat's language. A close-up shows Pink's intense, focused expression as he lets out a series of authoritative meows. Loud, chaotic crashing and thumping sounds erupt from behind the closed office door. The office area stands silent and empty after the sudden, violent commotion. Bong Soo-hyuk crawls out of the room with a bruised and bloodied face, meowing in pain while assistant manager Lee asks if he lost the fight. Mo Ji-eun desperately pleads for the sobbing manager to stop crying while assistant manager Lee watches with a blank, stunned expression. Mo Ji-eun comforts the battered blonde man on the floor as he continues to meow piteously in his distress. Assistant manager Lee notes that the feedback received was actually reasonable, while Mo Ji-eun continues to tend to the trembling Bong Soo-hyuk. Lee explains that they must improve their work regardless of the boss's behavior, as Bong Soo-hyuk huddles into a dejected ball on the floor. Assistant manager Lee sighs at the realization of impending overtime, prompting a shocked reaction from Mo Ji-eun. Mo Ji-eun and a pink-haired colleague strike a supportive pose for Lee, while Bong Soo-hyuk remains curled up in the background. Lee covers her face in distress, tearfully calling out for help as the scene shifts toward their intense work session. The three women work diligently at their computers into the night, with Lee taking a quick break for a snack. Lee looks down in surprise as Pink appears near her chair and lets out a meow. Pink stands on his hind legs and meows at Lee, who asks what he is trying to say. A quick tapping sounds as Pink's paws move rapidly across a computer keyboard. Lee cheers and confirms she understands the instructions, though she wonders why the feedback arrived at such an unusual time. Lee reflects on the fact that feedback was delivered through Bong Soo-hyuk because direct communication was impossible. Lee finally realizes the reason for the delay as she hears the sound of Bong Soo-hyuk's mocking laughter. Bong Soo-hyuk laughs loudly, mockingly asking Lee if she is struggling while revising the proposal. The blonde man begins to walk away with a smug, confident stride. Lee marches toward Bong Soo-hyuk with a dark aura, ignoring his protest about personal space as she closes the distance. A hand firmly seizes Bong Soo-hyuk's arm as a narrative note reveals that assistant manager Lee Hae-ryung's hobby is jujitsu. Lee pins Bong Soo-hyuk to the floor in a brutal grappling move, screaming that his delay caused her extra work while he lets out a loud, painful gya. The office staff excitedly watches the fight between managers while Mo Ji-yoon and her colleague look completely exhausted by the chaos. Mo Ji-yoon stares into space with a worried expression, questioning if the project will truly be able to proceed smoothly. A general announcement thanks the team for their hard work and tells assistant manager Lee to get home safely. As Lee leaves, Pink runs toward her, meowing, causing her to stop and recognize him. Pink offers Lee a small red-wrapped candy with a soft meow, leaving the woman startled. Lee accepts the candy and wonders if it is meant as an apology for making them redo the work. A close-up of Lee's face shows her tired and contemplative expression as she looks at the candy. Lee decides not to hold on to bad feelings and begins writing a quick apology note to Bong Soo-hyuk while he lies face down at his desk. Lee places the note and candy on the desk before preparing to finally leave for the day. As Lee walks away, Bong Soo-hyuk sits up at his desk with a battered face, finally getting ready to head home. Bong Soo-hyuk discovers the note and kisses it with a blissful expression, meowing as he asks where the manager is. Soo-hyuk crawls on the floor while Mo Ji-in chases the department manager, Go Yang-jun, who has stolen her spicy chicken. Bong Soo-hyuk gazes at the note and candy with a blush, appearing completely smitten. The note from Lee Hae-ryung apologizes for the arm lock and suggests that they try to get along from now on. Bong Soo-hyuk lets out a loud, blushing scream of intense emotion. Pink stares forward with a calm and slightly mischievous expression. At home, a tearful Soo-hyuk in a sweater complains to Pink that Go Yang-jun stole his spicy noodles while the manager sits there with sauce on his face. Go Yang-jun lies on the floor while Pink walks away with a casual, dismissive meow. A sudden, sharp impact sounds as Pink prepares to strike. Pink delivers a powerful kick to Go Yang-jun's face, causing the spicy sauce to spray everywhere. Soo-hyuk cheers for Pink to continue the beating as Go Yang-jun lies defeated next to a spilled pot of noodles. A soft tring sounds as the clock hits 7. A mechanical whir echoes as the elevator doors open. The short-haired woman asks if he is going to keep doing this, prompting the black-haired man to ask why assistant manager Mo is curious. Mo Ji-in stammers out a nervous question. Their hands remain tightly locked together. The black-haired man explains that it is not that he dislikes it. Mo Ji-yoon remains insistent despite his words. Mo Ji-in argues that he cannot do this in the office and should at least wait until they are working overtime. Mo Ji-in notes how hot the situation feels. He turns his face away, blushing. A massive office building looms large. Mo Ji-yoon calls out to the manager as he meows and hisses while jumping wildly around the office. Mo Ji-yoon offers a pained, tearful smile. Ina bursts into the room excitedly. Ina asks if she is there while the manager meows loudly and stands over the short-haired woman. Mo Ji-yoon sighs that she is exhausted because the manager is acting out particularly badly today. Mo Ji-in notes that her mother is in Hawaii, while Ina suggests getting some fresh air and offers to buy her a gift. Mo Ji-in wonders if there is someone who knows cats well and whom the manager likes, while Ina pulls the man away. Mo Ji-in considers who Go Yang-jun might actually like and know well. Sunlight glints off the tall skyscraper. Mo Ji-yoon notices the lipstick mark on the note from Lee Hae-ryung, apologizing for the armbar and asking to get along. Bong Soo-hyuk wonders what assistant manager Lee was thinking as the manager meows in the background. Soo-hyuk notes a scent of spicy noodles on the note and wonders why his stomach is churning before realizing he is just hungry. Soo-hyuk cheers about making ramen as a sudden ding-dong sounds at his door. Soo-hyuk shouts to ask who is disturbing a second-generation Chaebol spicy ramen. He flings the door open, shocked. The manager lunges and clings to Soo-hyuk. Ina shouts that she's leaving him in Soo-hyuk's care, while the blonde man asks Mo why she is leaving her boyfriend with him. A piteous whinny sounds as they run for it. A steaming bowl of hot food sparkles. Ina exclaims about how much food you have. Mo Ji-yoon eats with joyful tears. Ina notes that there wouldn't even be time to eat normally. Mo Ji-yoon promises to plan an amazing course for the day and begins to ask Go Yang-jun if he wants some. She looks back at the empty seat. The wooden chair remains completely empty. Mo Ji-yoon stares at the shop sign. Soo-hyuk screams for a policeman, claiming a giant cat man who does yoga has invaded his home. Soo-hyuk asks Go Yang-jun if he thought he would really say that before welcoming him in. He announces a welcome to his den.
Soo-hyuk stands confidently among many cats.
A chaotic meow and ma erupt as Soo-hyuk commands his cat army to attack. Soo-hyuk tells Go Yang-jun to get a good taste of his cat army. Ina asks what is wrong as Mo Ji-in checks her phone. Mo Ji-yoon claims she heard Go Yang-jun's voice, but Ina dismisses it as a ridiculous mistake. Mo Ji-eun quietly accepts that she misheard. Mo Ji-eun decides Ina is right and vows to have fun now, while Ina tells her to be more sexy. Mo Ji-eun promises to have so much fun that people will start talking, while Ina notes the amazing coffee. Ina announces that the luwak coffee has been served. Mo Ji-eun stares, looking completely revolted. The brown-haired man in a dark suit clutches his stomach, letting out a pained groan. The short-haired woman asks the manager what's wrong as he explains he feels nauseous, likely from eating raw oysters yesterday. He states that he needs to use the restroom and will be right back. A dramatic stylized image shows the brown-haired man sweating as the short-haired woman drinks from a cup. A pink-haired woman watches them with a look of extreme distress, letting out a loud yell. The pink-haired woman stands at the table and shouts, questioning why luwak coffee would remind her friend of the manager. Mo Ji-eun apologizes, admitting she just can't stop worrying about Go Yang-jun. The pink-haired woman smiles and asks if that's not how it usually is. The pink-haired woman explains that lovers are the ones you think of the moment you're apart. Mo Ji-eun looks on with wide, sparkling eyes, repeating her friend's words as she realizes her feelings. A thought bubble from Go Yang-jun expresses his desire not to be away from assistant manager Mo Jin. A close-up shows the brown-haired man's face blushing intensely as he looks down with a serious expression. A close-up of Mo Ji-eun's eyes shows her startled and wide-eyed reaction. Mo Ji-eun confirms to the pink-haired woman, Ina, that she really does miss Go Yang-jun. Mo Ji-eun lets out a joyful laugh, her eyes closed in happiness. A narrating bubble above a shop sign says that she stole the guy she was after. A steaming pot of red noodles with a sliced hard-boiled egg is presented as a thought bubble declares that it's finished. Bang Soo-hyuk explains the process of making his special ramen, mixing the base sauce with vegetables and his own secret spices. He proudly names it the Bonjour Special Trouble Bulldog Ramen. Bang Soo-hyuk prepares to enjoy his meal while watching Go Yang-jun get pulverized, but he suddenly lets out a surprised exclamation as someone appears. A large text bubble shouts a question about his cat army. Go Yang-jun, in his suit, crouches on the floor among several cats, meowing loudly while looking determined. Go Yang-jun meows and reaches for the bowl of noodles as Bang Soo-hyuk desperately tries to pull it away, shouting that he made it for himself. A close-up shows a sudden, sharp impact as Bang Soo-hyuk reacts with shock. Go Yang-jun lies on the floor, happily slurping the noodles directly from the pot as Bang Soo-hyuk cries out for him to give his food back. The hairless cat Pink stands in a doorway looking on as heavy thumping sounds echo from the room. A narrative note explains that Mo Ji-eun and Go Yang-jun were finally spending time apart. Mo Ji-eun and Ina are shown happily hugging and enjoying their time together. A narrative note says that at that moment Go Yang-jun was having a blast devouring ramen while his hand rests on his full stomach. Bang Soo-hyuk and Go Yang-jun lie on the floor, having reconciled after their meal. Soo-hyuk tells Pink he can stop kneeling as the cat lets out a soft meow from the table. Bang Soo-hyuk notices the time as Pink meows and holds out a digital tablet. Bang Soo-hyuk tells Go Yang-jun he is coming with him, determined to give his all now that he has taken on this task. Go Yang-jun lies on his back with a full, satisfied expression, meowing that he is full. Bang Soo-hyuk smirks and begins to unbutton his shirt, telling Go Yang-jun he is acting high and mighty just because he won their little spat. Bang Soo-hyuk flings his shirt off dramatically, asking Go Yang-jun if he still hasn't realized something. Bang Soo-hyuk announces that their match was erotic, while Go Yang-jun looks up from the floor with a shocked and blushing face. Bang Soo-hyuk smiles confidently, now dressed in a suit and tie. A loud, long scream of emotion echoes against a cloudy sky. The black-haired woman, assistant manager Lee Hae-ryong, stretches her arms over her head, declaring that she finally feels alive. Lee Hae-ryong reflects on how she's been neglecting her workouts lately due to her heavy workload. She blames Deputy General Manager Bang for making her work overtime and messing up her schedule. Lee Hae-ryong thinks about meeting her friend and heading home to finish her day. Nearby, a young boy shouts to his mother to look at something. Pink, the hairless cat, stands on his hind legs holding a donation box for stray cat neutering and spaying. The mother and son look on in amazement as Pink meows. Lee Hae-ryong crouches down to look at Pink, asking what he is doing as the cat meows back. Lee Hae-ryong reads the sign on the box, confused by the request for stray cat neutering donations. Bang Soo-hyuk's voice calls out to address the ordinary citizens. Bang Soo-hyuk stands holding a donation box while Go Yang-jun, in his tiny Catman form, curls into a ball at his feet. Bang Soo-hyuk calls out to an elderly woman, asking her to spare a moment. She responds by saying she doesn't even like cats. Bang Soo-hyuk explains that's exactly why she should donate, because if left alone, the cats will breed and the streets will be swarming with them. The elderly woman looks horrified at the thought. The elderly woman begins to panic, asking what they should do as Bang Soo-hyuk reaches out to calm her. Bang Soo-hyuk tells the woman that with a donation of just 1,000 won, they can remove the cat's peanuts and stop them from breeding. Bang Soo-hyuk stands with the donation box, looking serious and dedicated. The elderly woman thanks Bang Soo-hyuk for his good deed as she makes a donation with her phone. Lee Hae-ryong watches silently from behind, while Soo-hyuk laughs and says it is his duty as a chaebol to guide the common people. Lee Hae-ryong calls out to Bang Soo-hyuk by name and he turns around in shock to see her. Bang Soo-hyuk holds out the donation box to Lee Hae-ryong, stating that he is raising funds for stray cat neutering. Lee Hae-ryong forces a smile and praises his work, while her internal thoughts show her true shock and confusion at him making his own cat hold the donation box. Lee Hae-ryong remembers putting Bang Soo-hyuk in an armbar previously. She thinks that while she wants to say something, his actions are none of her business, and she still feels bad about their last encounter. Lee Hae-ryung decides to play along and quickly leave. She enthusiastically tells Soo-hyuk he's the best, while he looks on with a sweat drop, wondering why she is being so subservient today. Bong Soo-hyuk recalls being treated like a pest by Lee Hae-ryung, who scolded him for unapproved documents and strictly limited his gaming time during work hours. A thought bubble ponders whether assistant manager Lee actually has feelings for him. Back in the present, Lee Hae-ryung walks away as Soo-hyuk checks his watch and realizes they only have 15 minutes left. Lee Hae-ryung asks if the donation drive has been successful, and Soo-hyuk offers to take a look inside the box. They are met with a hollow silence as they peer into the completely empty donation box. Soo-hyuk blames the struggling economy for the lack of funds, but Lee Hae-ryung points out that people simply don't carry cash anymore. Soo-hyuk smiles to himself, impressed by the incredible dedication he sees in someone else. Go Young-jun draws a crowd by acting exactly like a stray cat, which Soo-hyuk describes as high-level performance art. Soo-hyuk is filled with despair, questioning if he is simply unable to ever truly surpass Go Young-jun. He reaches a hand toward the light in a dramatic and sorrowful gesture. Soo-hyuk cries out to the heavens, demanding to know why he and his rival both had to be created. Lee Hae-ryung asks him why he is so obsessed with trying to defeat Go Yang-jun. Soo-hyuk collapses to the ground, shouting that his deep-seated reasons are far beyond her understanding. Lee Hae-ryung reflects on the petty childhood and adult grievances Soo-hyuk holds against Go Young-jun, from blown ears to stolen popsicles. Soo-hyuk wails in grief while Lee Hae-ryung sighs and searches through her wallet for some spare change. She produces a single 10-won coin, admitting it is the last bit of cash she has. Soo-hyuk rejects the small donation, weeping that it doesn't change the fact that he lost to Go Young-jun. Lee Hae-ryung agrees that the coin won't help him win their Auri. She expresses a desire to give the 10-won coin to him regardless. She makes it clear that the gesture is intended for Deputy General Manager Bong specifically and not for his rival. Soo-hyuk stares up at her in total disbelief, his heart beginning to race. Lee Hae-ryung prepares to leave for her plans, but Soo-hyuk desperately pleads for her to stay for a moment. He asks for clarification on the note she gave him earlier. Lee Hae-ryung turns back with a radiant and blushing smile. She confirms that the note was her way of expressing her true feelings for him. Soo-hyuk is consumed by a fiery passion, shouting that he has finally fallen in love. He stands up abruptly with a shout, leaving Lee Hae-ryung bewildered by a sudden burst of energy. Soo-hyuk's face burns a deep red as he processes the romantic revelation. Lee Hae-ryung laughs and says she'll see him at the office while she wonders what on earth he is even saying. A wave of affection washes over Soo-hyuk as he watches her depart. Soo-hyuk tells the cat form Go Young-jun that a beautiful butterfly has just visited him. Soo-hyuk turns his attention to the cat man, announcing that he is going to make him an offer. He reaches out and gently cups Go Yang-jun's chin. Soo-hyuk's eyes are filled with a new, intense focus. Go Yang-jun suddenly bites Soo-hyuk's finger as the man tries to speak to his friend. Soo-hyuk lets out a pained scream, mourning the state of his precious hands. At the office skyscraper, voices announce the return of the manager while Go Yang-jun meows. Mo Ji-yoon joyfully hugs Go Yang-jun, shouting that she missed him. Ina gives Soo-hyuk a gift while he complains about being bitten by the manager. Ina and Mo Ji-yoon say their goodbyes, thanking the men for everything they did that day. Soo-hyuk looks on with a quiet, thoughtful expression. Soo-hyuk suddenly gets pumped up, vowing to work his hardest at the office while the others look on in confusion. The weekend comes to a close under a vibrant evening sky. Mo Ji-yoon and Go Yang-jun play together, feeling completely recharged for the new week. A loud echoing scream marks the beginning of the next workday at the office. Mo Ji-yoon sprints through the morning air with a piece of toast in her mouth. She rushes through the office gates, desperate to avoid being late. Soo-hyuk shrugs nonchalantly, noting that the manager is late as well. Two hands meet in a soft and affectionate touch. Bong Soo-hyuk and Lee Hae-ryung walk into the building together hand in hand. Bong Soo-hyuk and Lee Hae-ryung walk together through the building. Soo-hyuk expresses internal shock at assistant manager Lee's presence. Hae-ryung notices Soo-hyuk's sudden strange behavior and questions it. Hae-ryung asks the manager if he is feeling alright. Narrative text explains how love makes people behave foolishly. Soo-hyuk stammers nervously as he tries to respond to her. Soo-hyuk lets out a bizarre, flushed series of happy shouts. Hae-ryung questions Soo-hyuk's erratic deal as he skips away. A narrative note mentions submitting a written apology for lateness. Narrative overview of Project Hairball and its branding goals. Hae-ryung outlines the agenda for the upcoming video advertisement. Details of a collaboration with a celebrity cat channel. Sudden shock is expressed regarding the cat's famous chow. A coworker gushes over the cat while Ina watches. Mo Ji-yoon excitedly tells her father she will be famous. Soo-hyuk asks if there are any final meeting details. Soo-hyuk's face turns deep red amidst floating heart icons. Soo-hyuk is bluntly and flatly told to stop. The team collectively commits to doing their best. Someone admires the photo of the adorable white cat. Ina and Hae-ryung agree the cat matches their brand. Ina wishes she had a cat at her side. Yang-jun meows pathetically while crawling on the office floor. Yang-jun mimics the celebrity cat's cute begging pose. Mo Ji-yoon confirms that the studio booking is complete. Yang-jun meows loudly to get Mo Ji-yoon's attention. Yang-jun crawls closer to her while letting out meows. Mo Ji-yoon warmly invites the pouting man to his side. A smartphone begins vibrating loudly on the office desk. Mo Ji-yoon identifies herself to the Caps channel owner. Yang-jun faces a cuteness ranking crisis compared to Suga. Yang-jun lets out a long and sorrowful meow. Yang-jun collapses into a pile of total despair. Mo Ji-yoon asks Pink what is wrong with him. Manager Pink leads Mo Ji-yoon through the office. Yang-jun huddles into a spherical sobbing form. Mo Ji-yoon peeks through a doorway at her friend. Yang-jun continues to whimper while curled into a ball. Mo Ji-yoon addresses his jealous sadness over the cat. Mo Ji-yoon recalls their past secret dating life. A memory shows the moment their secret was exposed. Mo Ji-yoon reflects on being caught off guard then. Mo Ji-yoon comforts the pouting man on the floor. A warm and affectionate smile spreads across her face. Mo Ji-yoon begs him to stop being so mad. Mo Ji-yoon shares a secret preference for his cuteness. Yang-jun reacts with a sudden surge of happy meowie. Flattery is offered as a note mentions impending trouble. Studio lights are prepared for the following Tuesday's shoot. Harryung handles a sudden and stressful advertisement crisis. In the busy studio, assistant manager Mo Ji-yoon looks on as Lee Harryung checks her phone for news. Mo Ji-yoon reacts with pure horror at the news that the star cat, Sugar, has been in an accident and won't arrive for hours. The production team is thrown into a panic over the live broadcast that is scheduled to start immediately. Supervisor Joe asks hopefully if they have a backup cat ready to go. Lee Hyung admits they have one on standby, but her expression remains uncertain. Supervisor Joe explains that the backup is a mere placeholder and lacks any of Sugar's star power. The team stands in the quiet studio, realizing how crucial this broadcast is for their success. Lee Hae-ryong gives the order to bring in the backup, decided to find a way to make it work. Manager Pink appears in cat form, wearing a tiny tie and standing with an air of self-importance. The cat lets out a strange meow, leaving the staff in a state of confused silence. Lee Hae-ryong is baffled by the feline's weird noises and wonders what he is trying to communicate. Mo Ji-yoon screams at Bong Soo-hyuk to translate the cat's bizarre vocalizations. Bong Soo-hyuk tells everyone to stay calm as he stands beside the hairless tie-wearing cat. He suggests that instead of Sugar, they use someone with even more alluring charm. Manager Pink is rejected as a candidate for being too cool and chic for their brand's needs. Bong Soo-hyuk points with confidence toward a figure standing just off camera. He promises a model with an allure that surpasses even a professional cat. Go Young-jun is revealed on the floor, curled into a perfect round cat-like ball. Mo Ji-yoon begins the live stream, introducing herself and her marketing team to the viewers. She turns to the camera and introduces the premiere of their new hairball brand. The announcement is made that Go Young-jun will be the one demonstrating the new products. Mo Ji-yoon puts on a bright smile as Go Yang-jun lets out a convincing meow. Go Young-jun continues his dedicated performance, acting exactly like a cat on the studio floor. A close-up of Go Yang-jun's face shows him meowing with intensity as viewers express their doubts in the chat. Mo Ji-yoon repeats the introduction of the Gatorade hairball brand to the online audience. She confirms for the viewers that Go Yang-jun is indeed the one who will demonstrate the products. Mo Ji-yoon gives the pouting man-cat a gentle pat on the head while he meows. Go Young-jun meows loudly for the camera, though the chat comments describe the stream as a disaster. Mo Ji-yoon cheers and raises a fist, trying to force the show to move forward despite the awkwardness. Go Young-jun remains curled on the floor while viewers in the chat call the human performance crazy. Mo Ji-yoon sweats profusely as she wonders if the entire promotion is already ruined. A flashback from a few hours prior shows Lee Hae-ryung shouting in a fit of rage. She screams about how nonsensical it is to have a human demonstrate feline products. Mo Ji-yoon desperately tries to restrain the furious assistant manager and calm her down. Bong Soo-hyuk remains unbothered, stating that Mo Ji-yoon likely knows what she is doing. He explains that his confidence stems from his knowledge of Go Yang-jun's specific habits. Mo Ji-yoon looks on in shock as Go Yang-jun huddles in a ball on the floor. She is gripped by worry, wondering if Bong Soo-hyuk has discovered her friend's secret feline condition. Soo-hyuk makes a lewd comment about the plumpness of the man's backside, looking entirely too satisfied. The women are disgusted, flatly labeling Soo-hyuk a pervert for his inappropriate observations. Supervisor Joe and Mo Ji-yoon stare in stunned silence at the bizarre scene unfolding. Lee Hae-ryong demands that everyone snap out of it and return to their senses. Soo-hyuk suddenly grabs her hand, cutting off her protest mid-sentence. They lock eyes in a tense moment of silent confrontation in the middle of the studio. Soo-hyuk continues to shout passionately, his face flushed with intensity. Lee Hae-ryong is startled and confused as he brings up the judgment of Manager Pink. He quickly apologizes and lets go of her hand, leaving her flustered while Mo Ji-yoon watches. Supervisor Joe expresses concern about whether the higher-ups will ever permit such a strange plan. Mo Ji-yoon declares she will use her connections as a chaebol's girlfriend to make it happen. The live broadcast begins with the announcement of Go Yang-jun appearing as a model in place of a cat. Mo Ji-yoon shouts into the camera while viewers in the chat demand to see Sugar. Mo Ji-yoon tells herself to stay calm and focus on promoting the advertisement. She introduces the first product of the day while trying to follow her script. A meow sounds from the litter box while chat viewers call the demonstration lame. Mo Ji-yoon puts on a bright smile as she introduces manager Go Yang-jun. Go Yang-jun huddles on the floor in a simplified form, looking extremely nervous. Mo Ji-yoon looks down at her shivering friend with a worried and uncertain expression. She promises to show the demonstration later while viewers complain about the lack of sugar. Mo Ji-yoon sheds a silent tear as she realizes the public opinion is plummeting. A staff member asks Bang Soo-hyuk if they should continue the poorly received broadcast. Bang Soo-hyuk suggests they wait a little longer before trying to find a real cat. He stares intently at the screen, believing Mo Ji-yoon will eventually realize something important. Mo Ji-yoon stammers nervously as she promises to return to the litter demonstration later. She panics internally, feeling that the entire presentation is falling apart before her eyes. She grips her own hand to stay calm until a meow breaks her focus. Go Yang-jun grabs Mo Ji-yoon's hand and lets out a loud, insistent meow. Mo Ji-yoon gasps as she realizes Go Yang-jun is ready to perform for the camera. Narrative text notes that she is being such a fool. Mo Ji-yoon resolves to stay calm because the naughtiest cat is promoting their product. She recalls all the cute and naughty behaviors Go Yang-jun is capable of showing. Mo Ji-yoon prepares to introduce the next product with a new sense of determination. She presents the automatic water fountain to show everyone how naughty Go Yang-jun can be. Has everyone seen a cat make a mess while drinking? She stands over the huddled Go Yang-jun while chat viewers express doubt about his performance. Mo Ji-yoon begins a demonstration using a simple bottle of ware. She pours water over Go Yang-jun's head while chat viewers express their total confusion. Narrative text refers to the Go Yang-jun she knows. Go Yang-jun licks the water suggestively as the chat goes wild with shock and excitement. Bang Soo-hyuk is flabbergasted and blushing while Ina covers her eyes in the background. Mo Ji-yoon explains that things occasionally get messy and require a thorough cleaning. She continues the pour as chat viewers beg to see more of the action. The automatic water fountain hums to life with a quick press of its power button. Go Yang-jun licks the fountain while Mo Ji-yoon meows to the audience's sudden delight. Mo Ji-yoon asks the viewers if they are interested in seeing even more. She warns that her behavior depends on their comments as Soo-hyuk watches in awe. Bang Soo-hyuk realizes Mo Ji-yoon is completely dominating the audience's attention like a professional. Mo Ji-yoon is envisioned as a pop star reigning over her dedicated fans. She rallies the chat and asks if they're ready for the final product. Mo Ji-yoon introduces a special moisturizing cream for cats during the dry winter season. She grabs the simplified Go Yang-jun as he lets out a curious and confused meow. A sudden tearing sound echoes through the studio as a shirt is ripped open. Go Yang-jun's toned physique is revealed through the remains of his torn dress shirt. Mo Ji-yoon prepares the cream while viewers in the chat gush over his appearance. Moisturizing cream is applied directly to his muscular torso as chat viewers react with excitement. Go Yang-jun pouts in his chibi form with his shirt still wide open. Mo Ji-yoon stares into the camera and challenges viewers to resist his unique cuteness. She joyfully hugs the man and announces to everyone that he is her boyfriend. Bang Soo-hyuk excitedly announces they have shattered viewership records with over 10,000 streamers. Narrative text explains that humans become cute because they desire to be loved. Bang Soo-hyuk smiles and credits Mo Ji-yoon for unlocking Go Yang-jun's hidden naughty charm. A mouth is opened wide in a shout. Mo Ji-yoon shouts that her boyfriend is a cat. A soft rubbing sound follows as Mo Ji-yoon applies cream to the man's back. The staff celebrates a successful broadcast with amazing viewer reactions. Mo Ji-yoon raises her arms in a triumphant cheer. Mo Ji-yoon hoists the simplified manager while shouting that they actually did it. Bang Soo-hyuk calls Mo Ji-yoon incredible, and she excitedly addresses assistant manager Lee and the deputy general manager. Lee Hae-ryung marvels at the success and admits she feels ashamed for not listening to the deputy general manager. Bang Soo-hyuk praises her hard work, but Mo Ji-yoon modestly claims she only hosted the program. A broad and happy smile fills the woman's face. Go Yang-jun huddles on the floor in exhaustion while Mo Ji-yoon calls his name. She notes that they would have been in big trouble without his help. The story shifts back to 1 year ago at the corporate building. Go Yang-jun covers his face while appearing visibly flustered. Mo Ji-yoon reacts with shock to the idea of just the two of them. She considers how ordinary people would react while standing awkwardly with the man. The woman stammers nervously while her face flushes red. Mo Ji-yoon bows deeply and politely in the office break area. The manager shouts that he is heading out while Mo Ji-yoon tries to stop him. Go Yang-jun lets out a loud and frustrated shout. Time moves forward to the next day at the office building. Mo Ji-yoon tells herself to get a grip while walking. She questions if her life is a romance webtoon and why a chaebol would be interested in her. A light tapping sound follows as she walks, dressed up nicely despite her status as an ordinary supervisor. The woman denies having a princess complex while the manager stands behind her. Go Yang-jun notes that team leader Mo is early today. Mo Ji-yoon is startled as the manager walks past her. Mo Ji-yoon asks why he is there, and he responds that he always comes in at this time. She explains she just woke up early, and he notes that the elevator has arrived. The woman narrows her eyes suspiciously at his behavior. Mo Ji-yoon observes the man's back and notes he is acting like nothing happened yesterday. She realizes she didn't imagine it when she sees his hand shaking. Mo Ji-yoon is shocked to see the man's hand is shaking like crazy. She realizes it is obvious he is flustered and notes they have a long way to go. Mo Ji-yoon internally begs for someone to get into the elevator as nobody else appears. In the meeting room, Go Yang-jun suggests they move on to the next item. He notes a good response from young men and women in their teens and 20s. The manager points out that it wasn't great with the actual purchasing demographic above that age. Go Yang-jun rubs his chin thoughtfully during the discussion. Mo Ji-yoon finds herself distracted by the sight of the manager's lips. She blushes and wonders why she can only see his lips today. The woman thinks about how he is a handsome chaebol who always gives his best. She dejectedly reminds herself that they live in different worlds. A quiet silence settles over the long meeting table. Mo Ji-yeon is startled out of her thoughts as Ina calls her name. Ina tells her to hurry up and gather her fangs. Mo Ji-yoon is confused until Ina reminds her it is Supervisor Joe's welcome party. The realization hits the woman as she remembers the event. Mo Ji-yeon wonders why she is sitting next to the manager as they both tremble nervously. Supervisor Ju Gang-rak introduces himself loudly and mentions his love for climbing and bowling. The woman worries that the personal distance she tried to maintain is now gone as they stand close together. She fears that if this proximity continues, her relationship with the manager will become incredibly awkward. A firm hand grips a full glass of beer, signaling her decision to take drastic action. Blushing deeply, the woman drinks heavily with the intention of getting drunk and leaving the party early. She boisterously calls for another round of drinks while the restaurant staff confirms the order. Go Young-jun watches her with a look of extreme concern as she continues to drink. Completely intoxicated, the woman gives a sloppy salute and announces her departure with a loud shout. Ina worries about her state of intoxication and offers to call a taxi, but the woman insists she is fine. The drunken woman stumbles away, claiming a bus will take her directly home while her colleagues watch her leave. The pink-haired woman notes there is indeed a bus stop nearby, though she remains skeptical of her friend's safety. Ina decides she should follow her friend to ensure she gets home safely as a figure moves in the background. The woman wanders aimlessly through the night, drunkenly praising herself for having the courage to give up on her crush. She continues her loud internal monologue about her status as a motorcycle suddenly roars up behind her. A heavy mechanical vroom sounds as the rider twists the motorcycle's throttle to accelerate. The woman is oblivious to the danger as the vehicle speeds toward her on the sidewalk. Her eyes are glazed over and her face is flush red from the alcohol as she walks in a daze. A sudden, firm grip on her arm breaks her out of her stupor. Go Young-jun pulls her to safety just as the motorcycle speeds past them with a loud roar. The woman stares at him in a state of shock and confusion as she begins to sober up. The manager is visibly shaken and angry at the near miss, his face tense with worry. He lets out a furious shout at the motorcyclist for driving recklessly on a pedestrian walkway. He gently helps her sit down on a nearby bench and checks to see if she is injured. The man continues to scold her for her lack of caution while she meekly responds that she is fine. She stares intently at him, wondering what is causing her heart to race so quickly. The woman questions if her physical reaction is due to the alcohol or the shock of the accident. She realizes the intensity of her feelings might be because the manager is so close to her. Her hands reach out and pull him toward her in a sudden impulsive movement. Following her instincts, the woman pulls the manager into a deep and unexpected kiss on the park bench. Sometime later, Go Young-jun's promotional video becomes a massive viral hit, garnering over 1 million views. His popularity explodes online after the public discovers he is actually a wealthy chaebol heir. An executive reviews the data and suggests making Go Young-jun the official face of the company's marketing campaign. New advertisements for a product called Hairball feature the manager's simplified cat-like persona. Fans swarm the office, begging for autographs from the now famous manager who is huddling on the floor. Mo Ji-yoon is amazed by the overwhelming success of the campaign and notes how popular he has become. Her friend wonders if fame will change the manager's personality, but Mo Ji-yoon is quick to defend him. She insists that Go Young-jun will remain the same person no matter how much his status changes. Mo Ji-yeon boldly declares that their love is strong enough to withstand any challenge. Narrative text notes that a shocking situation has already developed despite her confidence. Mo Ji-yeon enters the office to get a signature, but is stopped in her tracks by a strange sound. Go Young-jun has transformed his appearance into a flamboyant rapper, greeting her with a stylized meow. The woman stares in deadpan silence as the story offers to explain the reason for this sudden change. The manager continues his bizarre performance as the narrator prepares to reveal the factors behind his transformation. The first reason is the constant and excessive praise he receives from everyone around him. The second reason is the negative influence of other online animal influencers he's befriended. The story shifts to the third and final reason for his new difficult behavior. A woman wearing a towel, turban, and sunglasses excitedly presents Go Young-jun with his favorite snacks. Mo Ji-yeon becomes frustrated as the manager ignores her instructions and continues to act like a spoiled pap. She tells the woman that her lenient behavior is making things harder, but the woman offers a casual apology. The woman explains the unconditional love of a parent while the manager happily eats his treat. Mo Ji-yeon sternly limits him to 1 snack per day, and he responds with a defiant liao. Mo Ji-yoon questions the man's posture as he presents himself in a feline manner. Go Young-jun executes a bizarre physical strike while making cat sounds as she shrieks. The woman with the turban weeps and laments that she cannot live under these conditions. Mo Ji-yoon tearfully defends the man's cuteness while rushing away from the chaotic office scene. Mo Ji-yoon departs during work hours for her parents' house as her colleagues observe her exit. The woman in the turban resolves to take over the responsibility of caring for the manager. A sudden and startling sound causes the woman in the turban to cry out in surprise. Mo Ji-yeon relaxes at her childhood home while her father stands behind her in the doorway. Her father asks her to move so he can watch television, sparking her immediate annoyance. Mo Ji-yeon loses her temper and shouts at her father for disturbing her peace. A sharp and painful thwack sounds out against a stark black background. Dako Soo-hyun strikes her daughter while scolding her for disrespecting her father's authority. Her mother assigns her a massive bucket of garlic to peel as a disciplinary task. Her father quietly assures her that her secret living situation remains safe from her mother. Her father calls for her attention as they sit together in the living room. The man notes her visible distress, but Mo Ji-in quickly tries to dismiss his concerns. He holds a kitchen knife while expressing his willingness to listen to her problems. Mo Ji-in blushes and looks at her father with a newfound sense of vulnerability. She ponders how to handle a romantic partner whose personality has drastically shifted. Her father gives a blunt and immediate suggestion to end the relationship entirely. Mo Ji-in is stunned by his directness as he reiterates his stance on the matter. The man begins to leave the room with a heavy and creaking sound. He stops and questions why she is describing her human boyfriend using animal behaviors. He explains the concept of natural hierarchies among beasts with a serious tone. The former soldier rips off his shirt to reveal a muscular physique, promising the teacher. He asks if she is ready for his training as she prepares to commit. Mo Ji-in undergoes a grueling montage of animalistic training in martial arts at dawn. A bucket of completely peeled garlic marks the end of her intensive training period. Her mother silently observes the empty bucket, noting the successful completion of the task. The story returns to the office building on a busy Monday morning. A focused atmosphere fills the cubicle area as work begins for the week. Her colleagues notice a drastic change in Mo Ji-in's aura following her weekend away. Mo Ji-in enters the office wearing a tough leather jacket and dark sunglasses. She finds Go Young-jun drinking milk on the floor and presents him with approval documents. The woman prepares an aggressive move while shouting a fierce battle cry. Her hand is raised high as she readies a firm and disciplinary strike. A loud smack sounds as she delivers a physical lesson to the startled man. She stands over him and blames his spoiled behavior on his mother's over-pampering. The woman's expression remains stern and unyielding behind her dark glasses. She loudly proclaims that a woman's transformation is a necessary and justified change. Narrative text appears as her father calls out to her in a memory. Her father uses a whiteboard to lecture her on the proper way to discipline her boyfriend. He rejects her suggestions of play hunting and food hiding with a sharp correction. He warns her that new tube advice is useless against a cat in human skin. Mo Ji-in notes her father's distinct scent as he leans in to give advice. The office building exterior is shown as the story returns to the present. Mo Ji-in declares that physical discipline is the only way to fix his current state. Go Young-jun lets out a distressed and high-pitched meow in response to her intensity. She reminds herself not to show mercy to prevent his further decline into laziness. Mo Ji-in delivers a series of firm slaps while labeling him a rascal who needs fixing. Mo Ji-yoon demands he admit his wrongdoings as her hand descends with a sharp thwack, while Go Yang-jun lets out a pained, elongated meow. Mo Ji-yoon questions the number of deserved hits as the man pathetically requests 2 more. Mo Ji-yoon rejects his low count and delivers another heavy strike as he cries out with a meow. She declares the punishment over while the man collapses in a heap on the floor. Mo Ji-in credits her father for the ultimate 100-round disciplinary technique she just employed. She wonders if Go Yang-jun has regained his senses following her soul-stirring finisher. A memory of her father emphasizes that sincerity makes discipline effective, not just the quantity of hits. Mo Ji-yoon considers if it was her sincerity or her heavy hand that caused the reaction. Narrative text celebrates the return of the original, suited Go Yang-jun to his true self. Mo Ji-yoon questions his mental state as he nuzzles her leg in a feline manner. She cries out in frustration as the man clings to her and continues to meow. Narrative text wants her not to forget the man's underlying nature despite her efforts. Go Young-jun licks his lips while the story notes he is no exception to his instincts. The Pink Cat manager returns from a trip and begins disciplining the man, who begs for mercy. A sharp smack sounds as the Pink Cat manager strikes his forehead with a firm hand. The building exterior stands quiet in the bright daylight. Ina enjoys a beverage through a straw at a quiet cafe table. White socks and gray shoes rest patiently below her chair. Ina smiles until a sudden shout of her name interrupts her peace. An eccentric woman in a turban and sharp sunglasses makes a grand theatrical entrance. The woman reveals Ina passed a secret test regarding keeping Yang-jun's identity safe. She praises Ina's loyalty and expresses her deep gratitude for the girl's assistance. Ina modestly dismisses the praise while the two sit together in the cafe. The woman offers a special gift from her wealthy family, causing Ina to react with delight. She presents a secret matchmaking list for the elite with an enthusiastic announcement. The woman encourages Ina to hunt for a high-end partner from the exclusive list. Ina celebrates escaping her solo life as her handsome candidate asks if she is Miss Bakina. Joe Guchel introduces himself as a construction successor, looking nothing like his profile photo. Ina compares the heavily edited picture to the sweaty reality standing right before her. She reacts with complete shock at the excessive use of photo editing on the date's profile. The office ceiling tiles mark a transition back to the workplace. Ina laments her short-lived date that ended after only a single meal together. Mo Ji-yoon questions Ina's greed regarding her high expectations for a romantic partner. Ina defends her desire for perfection while a colleague suggests she fix her attitude first. Mo Ji-in asks about Ina's ideal type while a small pink cat character holds up a sign. Ina describes her preference for tall, muscular men who possess a delicate and innocent face. The black-haired woman jokingly asks if Ina is describing her while the others look on. Ina slams the table with a loud bang while struggling to let go of her greed. Ina's colleagues observe her as she admits her standards are difficult to lower. Narrative text questions if her ideal man even exists anywhere in the world. Ina cries out for her perfect bluebird with a rugged body and an innocent face. Mojian orders everyone back to work as the small pink cat manager lets out a meow. A sudden ring sounds as a phone screen displays an incoming call from Mojian's father. Mojian answers the phone, and her father asks if she received the cucumbers sent by her brother. Her father reveals that her brother is actually waiting at her office building right now. Mojiun is horrified and panicked by the news of her brother's sudden arrival. Her father notes she hasn't been answering her brother's phone calls throughout the day. Mojiun screams in a panic and begins sprinting away as Ina asks where she is going. She shouts that her brother is at the office while rushing past her startled friend. In the elevator, Ina questions the dramatic reaction while Mojiun remains visibly shaken. Mojian panics while repeatedly crying out about her brother's arrival. Baekina questions just how much the man could possibly stand out to cause such a scene. Baekina is taken aback as she repeats the term ideal type in a state of confusion. A visual representation of her perfect partner features a rugged, muscular frame paired with a delicate, fragile face. A tall, muscular man with long black hair obscuring his eyes stands holding a couple of fresh cucumbers. The muscular man loudly promotes his long, thick cucumbers in the lobby while his sister and her friend watch from the background. Moji-yun screams for her brother in a state of absolute shock and distress. A security guard wearing sunglasses and a uniform sprints toward the man, ordering him to stop his activities immediately. The security guard asks how he can be selling produce at the company, and the man explains it felt like a waste since his sibling didn't show up. The guard demands to confiscate everything, including what's in the man's pockets, while Mo Ji-yoon reacts with horror as her brother claims those items are not cucumbers. Mo Ji-yoon rushes into the lobby and shouts at her brother while the security guard and the brother both react with surprise. She scolds him for ignoring her calls, but he defends himself by explaining he was busy working. The brother complains about the scary men in the city, while nearby colleagues wonder if the muscular man is a professional model, and Mo Ji-yoon tells him to back off. Mo Ji-yoon asks why he visited the office, and he explains he is staying in town for an agricultural expo. Ma Ji-in is baffled as her brother suddenly appears surrounded by a sparkling floral romance fantasy aura. Baek-ina is instantly smitten and offers a shy greeting while she herself is swept up in the shimmering floral atmosphere. Mo Ji-yoon and her muscular brother stare in complete confusion at Baek-ina's sudden and bizarre change in demeanor. Baek-ina hides her blushing face in her hands, giggling about how embarrassed she feels to meet him. A system-like notification declares that she has officially activated her hunter mode. Narrative text explains that Baek-ina has spent 20 years adoring men and using her fox-like charms to win them over. She identifies the muscular man as her perfect type and resolves to win him over as his sister looks on. The brother thanks Baek-ina for always taking care of his sister. He suggests that Mo Ji-yoon owes him her life several times, while Baek-ina observes him with intense focus. A cardboard box sits overflowing with several fresh green cucumbers. The man offers Baek-ina a box of cucumbers as a gift, leaving her momentarily stunned and confused. He enthusiastically describes how he grew the crisp produce himself, while Baek-ina reacts with an explosive shout of shock. A violent blow connects as Mo Ji-yoon screams at the man for what he is trying to give her friend. The man is knocked to the floor with the box over his head as Baek-ina lets out a startled high-pitched eek. Baek-ina stands in a defensive-aggressive pose while the muscular man remains dazed on the ground among his spilled vegetables. She points a finger and loudly brands the confused man a pervert. The man collapses in despair as Mo Ji-yoon rushes to his side, scolding Baek-ina for being too harsh. Mo Ji-yoon defends her brother's character despite his physique, while Baek-ina offers a flustered apology. Baek-ina reflects in silence, questioning why she is behaving in such a strange manner. She laments her inability to use her usual charms while the man continues to sob pathetically on the floor. A tiny, determined version of Baek-ina runs across a grief field. A memory shows Baek-ina in college as a popular class representative surrounded by several male classmates. Narrative text emphasizes that until this moment, managing and winning over men has always been easy for Baek-ina. A sudden squelching sound rings out as a glob of pink cream is squeezed from a tube into a waiting hand. Baek-ina applies the cream to her face while reflecting on the woman's instinct to gain romantic control. She considers the idea that simply pushing a man away is a low-level, third-rate tactic. She further ponders that only pulling a man closer makes one a second-rate strategist. The exterior of the office building is shown as the narration describes a true master as someone who makes others come to them. A colleague presents Mo Ji-yoon with a photo asking for her opinion on his daughter. Mo Ji-yoon compliments the daughter's beauty while the man brags about her intelligence and teaching exam success. Another colleague suddenly cuts in and pleads for an introduction to Mo Ji-yoon's older brother. One man shouts that marriage waits for no order while another tells him to stop talking as a third promotes his lawyer niece and Mo Ji-yoon sighs. Narrative text explains that Mo Ji-yoon's brother has maintained a massive level of popularity since his school days. A memory shows student versions of Mo Ji-yoon and her brother being swamped by girls bearing gifts and love letters. Mo Ji-yoon sighs at the realization that the same exhausting popularity has followed him into her professional life. Baek-ina reacts with a wide-eyed shout of disbelief at the surprising revelations about the man's past. Baek-ina leans across the cafe table, desperately pleading with Mo Ji-yoon to set up a meeting for her. Mo Ji-in firmly refuses while Baek-ina clutches her head in deep frustration. Baek-ina reminds her friend of how she helped with past relationship messes, specifically mentioning her secret dating of Go Yangjin, while Mo Ji-yoon offers a sheepish apology for her past behavior. Baek-ina shouts with dramatic intensity, questioning if her friend is even human if she refuses her request, prompting narrative text to praise her flawless logic. Mo Ji-yoon finally relents and agrees to set up the meeting, though she emphasizes that her involvement ends there as they firmly shake hands. Baek-ina is determined not to let this opportunity slip away as her friend makes a phone call to her older brother in the background. A large speech bubble screams out for her ideal man. Wearing a stylish off-the-shoulder top, Baek-ina offers a sweet and blushing apology during their meetup. The muscular Mo Won-jun smiles with his long hair obscuring his eyes, admitting that he also reacted far too sensitively during their first encounter. Mo Won-jun asks if they are really discussing actual vegetables, while Baek-ina lets out a polite laugh at the cafe table. He admits that he tried the cucumbers she gave him and found them surprisingly crisp and refreshing. He lets out a hearty laugh and offers his thanks for her kind feedback. He explains the unique taste comes from growing them personally, leaving Baek-ina staring at him with a starry-eyed, blushing expression. Mo Won-jun reveals he even grows plants at his office, while Mo Ji-yoon stares deadpan at a dying, drought-stricken plant in a pot. Baek-ina uses her ultimate technique, begging him with wide eyes to share more of his farming stories. Mo Won-jun is visibly overwhelmed by the numerous sparkling and adoring versions of Baek-ina's face surrounding him as she praises his stories. Narrative text notes her charm is irresistible to innocent men as a small panel shows her feeding a piece of cake to a dazed man. Mo Won-jun blushes and confesses his lifelong shyness and inability to talk comfortably with women. He admits that talking to her feels remarkably easy, while narrative text notes that he is officially falling for her. Baek-ina excitedly suggests that they should do something together right now. Baek-ina tells her friend to be quiet after Mo Ji-yoon points out she is actually free to join them, insisting it should just be the two of them. Mo Won-jun leads the way for drinks while Mo Ji-yoon follows behind them wearing a massive round costume head. A group of older male colleagues suddenly spots them and identifies the man as the popular older brother of assistant manager Mo. A crowd of men gathers around him, with one colleague loudly offering to introduce him to his teacher daughter as Baek-ina watches in shock. Baek-ina is furious that the men are ruining the romantic atmosphere she worked so hard to establish. Mo Won-jun firmly refuses the advances while Baek-ina panics over her ruined plan to exchange phone numbers during a private drink. A close-up of the man's face captures his confused reaction. A colleague asks if his offers aren't good enough, but Mo Won-jun calmly clarifies that isn't the issue. A large, calloused hand gently but firmly rests on a shoulder. Mo Won-jun shocks the crowd by placing his hand on Baek-ina and announcing that he is already dating the woman standing right there.
Baek-ina reacts with an explosive shout of confusion and disbelief at the sudden declaration.
A massive speech bubble echoes her shock regarding the dating claim. Mo Won-jun maintains a calm and incredibly handsome smile as he looks down at her. The older colleagues are stunned into silence as they process the news that he is dating manager Baek. The men immediately retreat while wishing the couple a beautiful love as narrative text notes they know how to keep their distance. Mo Won-jun looks at the dazed and wide-eyed Baek-ina, asking if she was shocked by his words. A flashback shows Mo Ji-yoon being harassed by female classmates for favors because of her brother's immense popularity. Back in the present, he takes her hands and explains he has a very important favor to ask. He asks her if she would be willing to tell everyone at the company that they are officially dating. He squeezes her hands tightly while she stands frozen with a look of pure bewilderment. She lets out a sudden loud shout of disbelief at the bizarre request. Baek-ina continues to scream her refusal as the man continues his desperate plea. She is left blushing and flustered, surrounded by a dazed aura of confusion. The man shouts for her phone number for now, promising to explain his full request later.
Baek-ina screams in a state of high-intensity panic and embarrassment.
Narrative text notes that although she failed to play hard to get, she is still taking a step toward love as she considers a social media ID. A close-up reveals a phone screen displaying Mo Won-jun's profile featuring a photo of him holding a box of cucumbers. Baek-ina celebrates wildly while holding the phone, which displays Mo Won-jun's contact information and profile. A desperate shout calls for help, lamenting that they are the only one looking like an idiot. Baek-ina asks her friend if she really expects her to wear such a ridiculous outfit while Mo Ji-yoon stands nearby in a yellow cat onesie. A poster highlights the pet fair's importance for connecting with overseas business buyers. Mo Ji-in questions why Baek-ina refuses to wear the promotional animal costume. Baek-ina shows off her natural charms with a sweet and playful pose. She laments wasting her careful grooming on a simple work-related field trip. Crying, she insists she is far too cute and pretty for her outfit.
Mo Ji-yoon explains the costumes were a last-minute emergency for the staff.
Go Yangjun struggles with a low growl of effort while carrying heavy boxes. A clear announcement for visitors rings out over the fair's public address system. Mo Ji-in turns her attention toward the source of the loud and sudden broadcast. Visitors are directed to the Rex Group product demonstration at booth B4. Mo Ji-in is stunned by the massive popularity and scale of the rival company. Baek-ina acknowledges Rex Group as the top leader in the pet industry. A fan in the background cheers for the manager hidden inside a costume. His response is nearly drowned out as a high-pitched squeal rings out. Mo Ji-in offers coffee as a cheerful meow sounds from her costume colleague. Baekina happily agrees to swap tasks as a playful meow sounds out. A mysterious man observes the group's interactions from a distance with a quiet hum. The stranger with long hair wears a stylish pair of dark aviator sunglasses. Mo Ji-in lets out a weary sigh while finally taking a seat during her break. She rests beside the costume Go Yang-jun during their short break from work. She commiserates with him over the exhausting nature of greeting crowds all day. Go Yang-jun offers a silly, dazed expression from inside his round, dark suit. He tries to look on the bright side of their trip together. Mo Ji-in smiles back at him, feeling more relaxed in his company. She is suddenly interrupted as a low, smooth voice calls out to her. The green-haired man stands tall in a pink shirt and white suit jacket. Mo Ji-in asks if he is another fan of their costumed company manager. The stranger silences her by placing a single finger against his own lips. He rudely dismisses her, insisting that the men are currently having a conversation. He grabs Go Yang-jun's chin, prompting a muffled sound of startled surprise. He criticizes the costumed man's lack of spirit despite his decent facial features. Go Yang-jun can only offer a startled, questioning meow as he is gripped. Mo Ji-in snaps, refusing to be treated like a pushover by the arrogant stranger. She steps forward to protect her colleague from the man's rude behavior. She notes his exhibitor lanyard and questions why he is picking a fight. She demands an apology, but the tall man remains mockingly arrogant toward her. She orders him to leave as Go Yang-jun watches the confrontation with wide eyes. Fuming, she threatens to move him out of her way by force. Her foot suddenly slips on the floor with a quick, clumsy whoosh. A sharp whack echoes through the hall as her hand makes accidental contact. The forceful accidental slap connects squarely with the man's surprised face. Mo Ji-in gasps, realizing her accidental blow was surprisingly powerful and loud. The impact sends the tall man tumbling with a heavy sliding thud. He lets out a breathy, satisfied sigh while rubbing his stinging red cheek. He remains on the floor, seemingly amused by her sudden burst of aggression. Mo Ji-in is completely baffled by the man's bizarre and calm reaction. Suited guards rush in to check on Vice Chairman Gong Young-hek. Mo Ji-in is shocked to learn he is the powerful Rex Group heir. She reels from the discovery of his true and high-ranking social identity. Gong Young-hyuk smirks and warns her that his slaps are quite expensive. Gong Young-hyuk looms over Mo Ji-in, demanding she decide and either pay him 100 million or face the alternative. He grabs her arm with force. He pulls her into a close embrace. Mo Ji-in looks on her foyer. Narrative text explains this is the third time Mo Ji-in has been confessed to by a second-generation chaebol.